Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Weggy's Hangout. Tonight we're here just to make Weggy laugh because, well, he's in a good dear need of a good laugh. So, welcome everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'll tell you what, if you've seen the size of my chopper, I don't know why, is it something to do with pain? Right, that's gone microscopic.
Well, we have now reached the level of tonight's hangout. Sorry, guys.
That's set the tone for the night, that hasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's start how we need to go on.
If I do shuffle around a little bit, I'm just trying to get comfortable, lads, all right?
It's good to see you out and about, though, Weggy. And with a smile on your face.
Do try, mate. You do try, but of course, since it happened to that, there's a bit overwhelming profanity, shall we say? So, John, keep it to a minimum.
Well, you are allowed, considering the amount of pain that you've been having over the past few days, to utter the odd profanity or two. I'll let you on this hangout.
It is what it is.
Wait, nobody said anything about you, Dobby.
Fuck off.
I'll just put mine down to Tourette's then, shall I?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck off, nosy.
Hi, biscuit thieves.
There you are. You carry on, Dave.
Yeah, right then. Now I'm just going through some of the comments because they're all just saying hi and basically, I love biscuits. Evening, Big Bag Burger Bears.
How did we get on biscuits? Have I missed something?
Yeah,
I didn't see biscuits.
There, I love biscuits. You go up the top. Where was it?
Yeah, arse biscuits.
Oh,
Biscuit thieves.
that's Stitch. She's the biscuit thief.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
she?
Yeah. So she confessed on Facebook, apparently.
Oh, I missed that one. Whole pack of Jaffa cakes.
Is it?
Fucking hell.
It's all
My
fun and
favourite.
games until someone gets their iced Vovos knocked off.
What's a Vovo?
Oh, no idea.
Oh,
Mm.
I take it that's a biscuit from down under.
maybe.
I'll take you word for that one.
Peter,
Yeah. Yeah.
did you venture off to? Did you get to the Stonham bike night?
Yeah, I actually drove my putt with blowing exhaust. If you go quick enough, it don't sound so bad. And I had five. I can never remember the damn name. Is it Five Finger Death Punch?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
yes.
got I've got their new album from FA or Fate, whichever way you want to call it. So I just I stuck that on my player and I just turned that full volume and just hoped the car kept going.
Did it actually help the engine? Cool.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
better.
I couldn't hear Stoddle, so that's all that matters. Oh, shut up, Stitch. But yeah, I popped up there. I saw Murray. I saw Ken, Carl, and Nikki. Wendy was there. There were several up there, and there were some really, really nice bikes, just all gathered. It was just basically people just on the bikes. They could park them up and that. But I'll tell you what, the food queue was ridiculous. It was miles long. They need to have a second van or need to speed it up. That's the only thing I'll say to that.
Yeah, don't really matter now after the night, do it?
Yeah, but it was still a good night. It was still a good night. It was nice to just get out, see other people and see a bit of machinery, if you like.
Of course, yeah. One of the guys in the crew, Paul Durrant, he sort of sent me a few pictures on a private message, or I think it was, and it looked like a good turnout. There's some real nice machines up there, and of course, moving into the new sort of ruling after this coming Monday. Obviously, ventures like this are going to come to an end for a short period of time, hopefully, aren't they? So,
yeah, well, that's why I was determined just to turn up and show my face tonight. That's why I wanted to go, just to literally show my face, stand there like my waistcoat, and say hi to people. It was nice just to get out, put numbers up there.
It's a shame we've been in a position where you're grabbing at straws again, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to be, isn't it? Unfortunately.
Same shit, different day.
That is, mate. But at least everybody's in. I say everybody's in good health. I'm fucking kidding.
As well as can be expected.
Carl's in good health.
As well as expected.
Yeah, I think Carl's the only one in good health around here, is he? And Chris, because Dave, you had a little bit of an incident, didn't you?
Yeah, I was coming home 6 a.m. on the bike, and this car decided that he wanted to filter, and I was filtering, and 2 into a spot like that doesn't go.
Does it not?
No, but I've got it on video, so eventually, after all the insurance is sorted and gone out, I'll put it on because it's a learning experience. It doesn't matter who's right, it doesn't matter who's wrong. We can all learn from mistakes. So
it's true.
It'll be put on. It will be put on, but like I said, it needs to wait for the insurance to sort it out and decide who's at fault.
So did you actually come off? Did you come off, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see the video. It looks as if you went down quite hard, Dave. Luckily enough, you sort of, you know, you gave the usual response. I know you've got your obvious problems and that, and let's be honest, when we get older now, we don't bounce as well. So of course you're gonna get the air knocked out of you for a start. And of course, the first thing we're concerned about is a bike, which is normal for us, you know. I mean, but I do know the extent of your injuries. That did make me smile, to be honest with you.
I had to put it on because I knew you were in pain. I knew you needed a laugh. You see, all I did was a couple of scratches on my knee, and I broke my toenail. So he's going on about his bad leg and all the rest of it. I kept saying, yeah, but I broke my toenail.
How the fuck did you break a toenail with bike boots on?
I haven't got a clue. It was about an hour after I got home, and I was just flicking my toes in my socks, and I go, that shouldn't be there. What the hell's going on here? And I pulled my sock off, and there was a toenail just sticking up like that.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Why do you sit there flicking your toes through your sock?
Because he hasn't got a bean to flick.
Because I wasn't wearing my shoes.
Well, that's
more importantly, he was discussing what repair colour he's going to put on his next fucking toenail.
I said to the here's one for the ladies. I broke my toenail. How can I go out now? I've got my nail polish won't fit.
Super glue.
Yeah. I said I'd have to use falsies on there. It says it might have to be amputated.
You have to 3D print you some nails, mate.
3D printed like a toenail,
yeah, that's a good idea. I never thought about that one.
So they say that all these things happen in threes. That must be the third one then.
Yeah,
Weggy, Dave, and Kat come off as well, didn't she?
Yeah, and Kat's just saying evening, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'll just see her on there.
Kat.
Oh, is that her?
Kat.
Yeah, one.
So just evening to everybody.
Hello, Moist
watching,
and Stitch and everybody else, and love you all.
Yeah. You need to get on it, Kat.
So we got Cat, we got Stitch, we got Moist, all fucking Crikey, or whatever his fucking name is, Croc and Tudor.
Moist.
An old duck tonight, mate. I see you.
You got Big Bad Biker Baz as well. Don't forget him. We got JB Models.
Who? Oh, Gordon. Hello, Gordon.
Yeah.
Gordon.
Hope he's well. He's been suffering.
Yeah, he might have to send you a leg.
I don't know if he does it. Does he do different colour tones?
It's possible.
Oh, Jesus Christ, mate! Yeah, we had a quip because we've got a one-legged biker in the Suffolk crew. Cole King. He's a brilliant guy, and he rides a bike fantastically. And he has put in a request for my leg if I decide I don't want to keep it.
Wasn't it Cole Weggy? Wasn't it Cole at our crew Christmas party? He won a pair of was it Harley G trainers?
You want a pair of trainers, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, got a pair of trainers, and of course, I've only got one leg, bless him. And I tell you what, he took it to heart, didn't he? He played along.
Because obviously he offered the other one to somebody else, didn't he?
Yeah.
It's always good to share.
Cat says she bounces okay.
Hey?
Cat says she bounces okay.
Yeah. Hope you're feeling well in Cat, because she's obviously between herself and Anna, they've got quite a few bikes between them. They've sort of recently joined the crew and that, which is fantastic. They've got the proper diehards when they come to biking, they know the stuff. And of course, Kat's got a wheel business, and but yeah, Kat obviously she'll probably explain the accident, but obviously a nice triumph. As far as I know, is going to be written off, and I think she'd end up with a broken wrist and a fair few bruises. So get well soon, Kat.
Yeah,
definitely.
Oh, bless your heart. Get better soon.
Do we all have to add some nail polish for the insurance claim? They did ask me if I wanted to do any personal injury in the form, but they didn't ask if I wanted nail polish as well.
If you had to have nail polish, Dave, what colour would you have?
Black. Of course, it's got to be black. I mean, that's what I used to use when I was a goth.
I reckon you used to use rainbow.
Yeah.
You've got fucking unicorn ones.
Yeah. Suffolk
Sprinkle
Andy. Are you coming on, Suffolk Andy?
Hello, Andy.
I was going to contact Suffolk Andy just to see whether he was going to come on, because he's not been around for a little while. I know he's been grafting and that.
Yeah, he's been working.
Maybe for a while, yeah.
As long as he's okay, that's all that matters.
Get yourself on, Andy. Don't be lazy.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah.
Yeah, come say hello.
Yeah, I'm going to just send him a link just in case. While we're doing that, we got maybe next time when I can wash my bikini hair.
No, that's blinking hair, not bikini hair. That's totally fucking
What was I thinking that for? There we are. There we are, blinking hair. That's good enough. I'm doing more than one thing at once. Andy, good day.
You concentrate, Dave.
I'll tell you what, thank you for Dave. That was cool. That was brilliant.
Anything to make Weggy laugh. That's the theme today.
Yeah.
Bikini hair.
I'll tell you talking about Cat's bikini hair, Dave.
I'm just looking for. There he is.
I'm just waiting for Kat to put up, but she doesn't have it. Oh dear.
Old man Tony, evening.
Tony, how are
mate?
you doing, bud?
Very busy here. Paste. Go. Okay. Andy, I've just sent you a link if you want to come online.
Well, he's online. He wouldn't be on talking to us if he wasn't online, mate.
On here. 70 to 0 in 1 second, she did.
I'm just lying back, a bit of a pose, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, milk it.
Switches, guys.
Yeah, if you've got to milk it. It's never as much fun doing 70 to 0 as it is from doing 0 to 70.
Yeah.
No.
Get well soon. And thanks, Baz. Okay, we're all caught up with that as well. So, as any of you, this is going to be one against Weggy. Have any of you watched Spicy 110's review on the electric bike that he had?
No.
Because he said that CBT legal 125 equivalent bike is every bit as powerful as his DRZ.
Yeah.
Which is
just a lot heavier.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any Spicy videos for quite a few years, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I do watch them occasionally. I watched it because I was interested, not because I want one. because I'm interested in the technology and where it's going and the range and all that kind of stuff. And at the moment, if
They need to stay in the range, is what I reckon. They need it in the range. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I know. He's got the small. He was given the one with the smallest battery, and he was getting approximately.
Sorry. Just my fucking imagination, might as well.
Yeah, because he is 6'4", and he was getting between 50 and 70 miles range on every day, tootling around and blasting it here, there, and everywhere. And he's telling us all about the pros and the cons of it. He says, if you well, as I've always said, if you are going to commute, do 10 miles here, 10 miles back, that's all you're gonna do, then electric bike is going to be fine for you, but not for trips, not for going distances or anything else like that. He says it charges up with the kettle lead in 7 or 8 hours, but they are having they do have a quick charge one which it charges in 2 hours.
Yeah, but you see that. I think that's the Weggy's laughing his head off at the thought of the kettle.
Evening, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Evening, Jim.
Good evening, cats.
Evening.
An unexpected visit.
Yeah.
I think with the electric bike, that is very much the biggest issue in my mind. The range is bad enough, but it's the fact that you only get 50 or 60, and then you have to wait even for a fast charge, assuming you can get somewhere that can do a fast charge. You've got to wait 2 hours just to get another 50 or 60. You've got a bike that can do 160 miles on its tank, and then you can just fill it up in seconds and off you go again.
That is the advantage of the petrol, and he does tell you that. He does tell you that if you're going a distance, then the electric is not there yet.
I'll tell you, there's one other disadvantage with electrics as well, and it only sort of come to mind because I'm currently looking at buying a hybrid car. Well, that's almost gone out the window now because I found out that the batteries that run the hybrid engine, as opposed to the 12-volt battery that would normally start your petrol engine, they're a couple of grand each when they go. Yeah, and they've got a lifespan of about 10 years.
Yeah,
some even less than that.
Batteries have a lifespan of 10 years. They said the batteries on this, they say the lifespan is 100,000 miles, and at that point you should be still retaining about 80% of the charge that is put into it. If you believe those, then that is every bit as much as a motorbike. A motorbike engine will need replacing by then, or a major overhaul by then. But the downside is still the amount of time it takes to charge the damn things up.
Yeah. Also, the other side, the flip side of the coin, there is, okay, you can get your money. You only use so much, and then you go and get another bike. But you can't use that bike as a part exchange because somebody knows they're going or sell it off because they know they're going to have to pay a fortune for a new battery to stick in it.
Yeah.
It killed the second market off, wouldn't it?
Also, the bike at the moment is 10 grand.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They're not cheap yet.
Good evening, Stitch. Good evening, Moist.
Good evening, Jim.
They've come a hell of a long way. They've come a hell of a long way since the concept. There's no two ways about it, and of course, they're becoming more and more viable very, very slowly. And of course, at the end of the day, that will be the way it goes. But at the moment, it is still a very, very expensive concept in a way that what it actually costs effectively to replace parts, and then obviously you've got the charging time. So it's a completely different way of doing things. But then, isn't that the way life is going at the moment anyway? We're having to adopt new ways.
Eventually, you will not be able to get a engine, as we call them, petrol or diesel engine, and electric will have to be the way to go. So eventually, we will be too old to ride when our bikes stop working because we will keep them going for as long as we can.
Absolutely.
But the next generation, the next generation won't have the same thrill as what we do, unfortunately.
No.
We are really, to be honest, we're very lucky because you know, I mean, I know, you know, without. I'm not worried about the fact that most of us lads are sort of, you know, we're in the late 40s and 50s on here. Of course, we're probably the last generation, really, within reason, to really be able to appreciate the types of motorcycles that we've been accustomed to and live with and been brought up with, I suppose, and been able to own and enjoy. It's not going to be that too many years now before, like you say, the whole thing changes. Hopefully I've probably got another 10, 15 years of being able to ride. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And by that sort of time, I expect things to be quite a bit different. You never know, though, do you? Really?
Yeah.
To be honest.
So
Well,
depends where they all go with it. I mean, Volvo
Yeah.
now, apparently, they don't make any petrol engines at all. All the
Is
Volvos
that
now
right?
will come out electric, yeah.
Kat says we've ridden in the best times, which I think we have.
We have. I mean,
And
we've
Yeah,
had the
mate.
two-stroke era. We've had
Yeah.
all the fun of the 80s. I mean, bikes just came on leaps and bounds in the 80s. And
I don't think any decade really was more significant. Really, or the 2 decades really. I found that the 80s and 90s, you know, with the way that there was so many new models coming in, the engine quality was better, the build quality was better, the facilities were better, the handling was better, and everything else. Frame design was better. You know, and that's, I suppose, really, if some of us are quite honest, and people who know me know that particular era is my love of motorcycles. I could literally stop buying any motorcycle that was made after the year 2000, if I'm completely honest. You know, I couldn't. Any of us could, really, if you think about it. Some fantastic motorcycles made over that period of time. You know, but it is, isn't it? You know, and I've had a chance to, as you know, I've had a chance to ride something that I never thought I'd get a chance to ride. I've had many chances to ride, which was Murray four-sized Honda Blackbird, and that's a revelation in itself. What a fantastic motorcycle that is, really.
You definitely fallen in love with that, didn't you, Weg?
Yeah, I have, mate. I mean, you know, they're not the most prolific looking bike, but I'll tell you what, everything they do very, very well indeed. And I surprised a few people. Obviously, I don't know if I mentioned it last time. Overall, it was a far better motorcycle than my ZZR 1200. So there you go.
Yeah,
Morning,
I think Honda missed out on that one. It was obviously a great bike, but I don't think it got the attention that it was due at the time.
No, I don't. I think it did, but it was so short-lived because like enough, I had the ZZR 1100 D5, as you know, Chris, and you see the bike, and that was that. In a lot of respects, it was a far better bike than the ZZR 1200. Now, obviously, that held the fastest bike mantle for 5 years. The Blackbird came along, with a 2 mile an hour faster motorcycle with a little bit more horsepower. But that only held that mantle for, I think it was 2 years, until obviously the Hayabusa came out and it obliterated everything in sight. It just completely obliterated motorcycling by about another 15, 16 miles per hour for what it was worth, and what an engine that produced, you know. So there it is, and then obviously the ZZR 1400, boom.
Slap the Suzuki sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mice says all it takes is someone to make a new generation of batteries and everyone will have to convert their bikes to the new system. Well, I don't know about converting to the new system, but new bikes will be made with that in mind and the cost accordingly. And I suppose he was saying there's 2 issues. There's one issue that he won't talk about because it's not the reason why he had the bike, and that's the environment. We all know that in order to produce the electricity, it's not always clean that they're doing, and producing the batteries, that's not the best at the moment either.
No.
But the other one, which is more of our concern, is the other pedestrians and road users do not hear you when you are coming. He was not frightened, but he was hesitant when he was doing his filtering because he knew none of them can hear you. He said he was following behind a skip lorry, and he never knew that the chains rattle. when he's following behind a skip lorry, but he could hear it because
Yeah.
there's no engine noise.
No.
And to me, that's what makes them dangerous.
I personally think that if I was able to continue my riding career, I would go the way of Honda, because they're not directing their energy towards the electric bike, as you know. They are going towards the fuel cell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the
Again,
difference?
which is
Fuel cell runs off water, basically.
Okay.
hydrogen.
Well, I say, yeah, it's a hydrogen and oxygen. You combine the hydrogen and oxygen, you get water. If you split water, you create hydrogen and oxygen. So it's just like a never-ending circle, but you do need electricity to create it. But the fuel cell itself uses gold and a few other rare precious metals, so they are expensive, but they are better for the environment.
They're better for the environment. They're cleaner. They're more efficient, and you get a lot better mileage than you do out of a battery.
Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need to recharge like a electric bike. You just go to a fuel station, put your
Piss in the tank.
Well, not quite, because
Not quite.
it's hydrogen you're putting on. You do exactly the same. You put a hose to your tank, and it fills it up with the hydrogen. Take it up and ride off.
Just fill it up with a gun.
Right.
Right, excellent. I love that idea.
It's a silly question, but what is it you actually put into there? Is it just water?
Hydrogen.
No, it's
No,
liquid,
no.
liquid hydrogen.
It's hydrogen gas, is it?
No, liquid hydrogen.
Liquid hydrogen.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you pressurize hydrogen, it goes into a liquid.
Okay.
Pressurize it and make it cold, it goes into a liquid. Shove it in the tank and it stays as a liquid. And then
Because it's not
you just
expanding
inject
nowhere.
it. Yeah, just
All right,
inject
so-
it.
So once the hydrogen gas is turned cool enough to be a liquid, it will stay liquid for good.
Well,
Yeah,
until
well, when it's under pressure, yeah.
When it's under pressure, it remains as a liquid because it's heavier than air, basically.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to get
it's
my
lighter than air. Hydrogen
And,
floats. It's
yeah,
lighter than air.
it's lighter than air. Yeah, it's nitrogen that's heavier than air, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's right. It's just basically when you compress something, it becomes heavier.
And it's the most abundant chemical available as a fuel because you breathe it in every day.
So I suppose the stupid question is, why are they persisting with things that aren't
Oil.
that?
Because
Oil barrels.
they make more money from producing the batteries and battery powered vehicles than they do from a hydrogen fuel cell.
Because if you have a hydrogen bike, for instance, you pay for the hydrogen fuel cell, and that's basically it. When you're doing the bikes, you're paying for the battery, you're paying for the upkeep of the batteries, the charging of the batteries, and then replacement batteries when they go bad or whatever. So it's a lot more expensive to run batteries, but they're selling more.
Yeah, so
Because-
basically the cell life for an electric bike with the batteries is a lot shorter.
Well, basically, even though you're paying, like, say you pay 20 grand for an electric bike, you're still paying for that every day by charging the bike up, because you still have an electric bill at the end of every month or end of every quarter. You're paying for that bike every day that it's on charge. Whereas a hydrogen fuel cell, you're only paying for it when you're using it.
Okay.
When you fill it up, you're paying for your fuel, same as you are petrol or diesel.
Okay, that's going to be the next silly question, because you know I'm good at my silly questions. When you actually fuel it up with the hydrogen, is it just literally like going to a petrol pump and you just fill her up and then off you can go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
And when you burn the hydrogen, the gas, the waste product is water.
Water, yeah.
Pure water.
Just yeah.
I mean, back in the 90s, Honda came out with a hydrogen car and actually produced them in Swindon.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
Well, they actually showed an advert with a guy drinking the water out of the exhaust off this car. I don't know if you guys remember the advert.
Yeah, I do.
But what Honda did, because nobody picked up on it, they offered it to the workers. All these cars as fleet cars. Now, if you had an all petrol or diesel, you paid £400 a year tax or something stupid like that. If you had the hydrogen car, you didn't pay anything.
And of course, you get these scaremongers that say hydrogen. Oh yeah, you don't want that. That's what happened to the Hindenburg.
Well, I think it was more the filling up that was a problem.
Yeah.
No, there was nowhere to do it apart from at your depot.
Yeah, but of course, like petrol stations, there weren't that many when petrol engines first started around.
Like electric, there's not that many places, is there, at the moment? Yeah. It's got a lot better, I presume. But, you know, that's still...
I don't think it has. I was watching a program the other week because they pushed for all the taxi drivers to get battery-powered taxis. And there's only 4 charging points in the whole of London.
That's clever.
Yeah,
really?
how are they doing all their miles that they have to do? How are they going to be able to charge it up?
They can't. They can only do the miles that they do, and because they're so behind with the infrastructure, they haven't put the charging points in for them to go and plug in. And there's only 4 charging points in the whole of London for all these taxis.
Kenneth says all the pigs, cows who are going with methane gas. Yeah, the trouble with methane gas is, although it's nice and fine down here, as soon as it gets up into the ozone layer, it destroys the ozone.
It destroys the ozone.
Methane is one of those gases that is good and bad. And it also quite smells a bit.
Only on some days.
Yeah, only on Sundays if you had too much cabbage. You need a lot of energy to make hydrogen. That is true. However, you can use solar, wind, wave power. All these energies can be solely designed to create the hydrogen. So, although you do need a lot of energy, it can be free.
You need a lot of energy, but you don't have to have it coming through a power station. You can have it in your back garden.
Yeah. There was 10 years ago, there's a bloke in America that his whole house is powered by hydrogen, and he has these huge big tanks outside, and all he's got is 20 or 30 of these big solar cells, and he uses those to charge up his energy systems and whatever, and create the hydrogen that he needs from the water that's in his backyard. I think he's got a river or stream or whatever, and then when he needs energy, he just burns the hydrogen, and he's off the grid, and he's been doing that for years. Grid.
So I presume hydrogen then is a safe option compared to.
It's as safe as a battery.
Yeah.
If you have a battery fire, I don't know if you guys watch the Grand Tour.
No.
Hamster actually drove a battery-powered supercar, and he crashed it
in Switzerland.
It was a Rimac that he used it for hill racing. He actually crashed it, and that thing burned for over 3 days because the cells kept catching fire.
Yeah.
Because all the batteries are built up of little cells, and they put the fire out, and then they left it half an hour, and it caught fire again because all the cells were catching fire.
And if any of you seen my video "Fun at Work," one of the guys there, he decided to get a fully charged 18650 battery, one of these that you use on your vapors, and he just puts a knock through it, and it just instantly explodes and spurts all the lithium-ion stuff all over the place.
Lithium-ion,
yeah. It's quite spectacular to watch in real life, and I slowed it down a bit for the video. Old Man Tony says fuel cells can use all kinds of fuels, including petrol, diesel, ethanol, as well as hydrogen. Moist says Pete filling up on hydrogen will be like how we fill up on LPG now. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
The damn taxi driver better not keep the meter running while they wait for 2 hours to charge up to continue the journey. Yeah. Yeah, I reckon the taxi drivers need to have solar panels on the tops of their roofs as well to help charge.
But the basic way to look at it is you look at the people behind the battery systems and the fuel cells and everything else, and you soon realise why they're pushing the battery. It's cheaper for them to manufacture the vehicle to go around the battery.
Yeah.
You look at the Peugeot. It's all the French companies, Peugeot, Citroën, and they all work together, so it keeps the cost down.
Yeah.
Whereas Honda, I think Suzuki are the only two companies in the world that are working on the fuel cell system.
It's always best to have a deviation on these kind of things to keep things going in the right direction, because the one is going to always try and outbeat the other one, and that's good for us, because if you just have petrol, for instance, then the technology in the petrol engine never gets better for us. Now, you don't get more mileage, you don't get more reliability, because there's nobody wants to invent something to beat somebody else, so they just leave it as it is. That's one of the reasons why steam engines just died to death.
But you look at the new Peugeot 208e. The battery life is 5 to 10 years. Once the battery's life is over, it costs you over £10,000 to replace the battery.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Because it doesn't cost that anywhere near that much to produce them. Nowhere near.
No, you pay $30,000 for the vehicle. You keep it. Say you use it every day. 5 years later, you got to buy a whole new battery for $10,000. They're a no-brainer, aren't they? They're going to be raking it in, and that is the reason that a lot of companies are going for the battery power, because the life of the battery isn't that great.
You see, one of the things you have to look at is marketing. If they build something that lasts 10 years, they know they're not going to sell anything of the same thing for 10 years. So they're going to, so they want to keep their profits up. So they're going to make sure that it costs so much that it lasts 10 years. Yeah. If they were to sell something that lasts 6 months or 12 months, then the cost would be right down, and they make it out of the cheapest stuff to keep the cost down. But everybody will want one because it only costs pennies.
So that's the attitude, isn't it? Do you make a big profit quickly, but just once or twice, or do you make lots of small? But
will all the roads be wet all the time?
Wet all the time.
Well, technically, because although it's water that's coming out, because it's an internal combustion engine, it's actually more like
water
steam
vapor
coming out. Yeah. So it'll go up rather than down.
Yeah. Make towns and cities a wee bit moist.
All the major manufacturers are looking at fuel cells. The legislation, what's that? Legislators are pushing the technologies towards electric battery technology. They are.
Because they're making more money out of the battery technology. Because they know that if the fuel cells take off, they're not going to make half as much profit through taxes and all this other shit.
Well, I don't know. If you tax hydrogen the same as you do petrol, they're going to make wedges like they do now, aren't they?
Well, they can't.
Trust me.
They can't tax a clean energy. That's what they say.
can.
They say it every day.
As
We
soon
do
as
not-
everybody's there, mate, as soon as everybody's got hydrogen cars, they can charge what they like.
I was going to
Yeah,
say, trust
they
me, as
can.
soon as they're finished, they'll
Everybody is
start
using
doing
the
it.
same thing. That's what they'll exactly do. They'll basically tax everybody left, right, and centre on what you're using at that particular point. It's irrelevant what you're using. They will tax whatever is the most common.
Yeah.
Finally.
Mike says it'll make cars, bikes, throwaway items. It will indeed, because nobody will want to have one that's 6 or 7 years old, knowing it's only ever going to last 3 or 4 years at the max.
3 or 4 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, unless you can make it hybrid.
Only in Suffolk, Andy, when he's talking about will all the roads be wet. Fuel cells produce electricity, so they work well next generation of battery. Yeah. It's easier to tax fuels than electricity. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because they say, it's damaging the environment.
I don't know. N-Power and all this lot, they seem to fucking, get away with ripping you off, don't they?
Yeah,
You
they
still
all
have to
get their
pay
power
VAT
from the
on
same
that.
place.
Yeah. It is what it is. It was
So
lovely
how's
to
Weggy
see you
doing?
today, Mr. Weg.
Okay, mate.
Good to
So
see
you,
you
buddy.
today, buddy.
Yeah, and yourself, mate. Go on, a bit quiet. I'm just tired. Feeling it now.
You're going a bit tired, eh?
Yeah, I was feeling it last night, mate, to be honest. No, it's because, as you can see, I'll just sort of show you, that's what it's like, you see it. So I have to release the straps. Can you see it okay, lads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Release the straps on the traction thing, because the pressure, obviously the swelling's gone down a hell of a lot. But this really, I can't move it left and right. I have to do it sort of manually by hand. And every time you sort of go and move it, it's all millimetre for millimetre, unless you're dead careful. It's obviously quite attentive, quite painful. And I'm sort of coming off the morphine now. So with the morphine, I've never had morphine before, to be honest. And it's obviously
It fucks your head.
Very fucking tiring.
He's like a fucking Duracell bunny earlier.
Yeah, I know. Of course, it makes you quite nauseous as well, which is I was no one's a fan of that, to be honest. It makes you very tired. And obviously not with the pain. It's a funny thing because coming off that and then you're trying to sleep and you can't sleep because of the pain, and so I suppose really I probably had about 10 hours sleep the last week. Crazy, it's ridiculous. So of course that'll catch up, but it is what it is, mate. I'll start for a while, but no, it's great. It's just great. It's just, it's just nice. I suppose really it's nice to be sort of fairly comfortable. Thank you. For a change, you try and stay as comfortable as you possibly can. Like I say, it's just it's horrible, really, because. Like I say, everybody who knows that I was at work. I was just doing my job and that, and it's just a silly accident. Really, I slipped on a metal buckle on a lorry, and the leg just went all over the place and displaced it, and that was it, really. But
Evening, Tracy.
On the other side of things,
Tracy.
I can't see who's on here, but hello, Tracy.
She says, "Evening, all. Get well soon, Weggy."
Yeah, thank you. That Tracy who?
Tracy Brown.
Okay, Tracy Brown. Hello, Tracy Brown. No, the one thing I did, I spoke to my very good friend Richard, who I work with, member of the Black Shuck MCC, and he called me up tonight, and I'll tell you what happened, because obviously I work for a family firm, haulage firm, which I've been working for 15 years. And for the first time, I'd seen that a job had been advertised, or two jobs had been advertised, and then realised that the job fucking excuse the language, this job that was advertised was actually mine the day after the accident. So I thought, well, fair enough. I know for a fact, without being silly about it, they need to cover me because you need somebody with a class 1 license for a start to be able to drive all the vehicles and also to be able to do what we do, which is not the easiest job in the world. It's not the most difficult job in the world, but it's fucking hard work and long hours, and of course you have many problems, and of course you need the right staff in any job, don't you?
Yeah.
So I would appreciate the fact the job got up. But anyway, he spoke to the company boss this morning, and he did have to say, he said, look, mate, he said, I've just got to speak to you. He said, you know, Weggy's obviously a little bit concerned because, you know, he's seen the advert for the fucking job, and he said, and he just turned around and said, that Reg, he said, you know, he's got sod all to worry about. He said, there's no way we're going to lose Weggy. You know, he said, but obviously at the same time, we need to cover the position, you know, because normally what they do is they cover it in-house. They cover it in-house with another member of staff. There's only 2 of us that can effectively drive all the lorries, you know, without blowing our own trumpets. It's just the way it is. It's the way it always has been. And, you know, if you lose that one of those bodies, then the other body has to take over as such. And that normally means relentless weeks of nights, because that's the only time we have to really do it. So, but anyway, he's qualified the fact that, you know, as far as I'm concerned, if I can still carry off that physical part of that job once this is repaired, then as far as they're concerned, I've still got a job, which, you know, from most people's perspective, is a priority goal above everything else, isn't it?
You should be fine, mate. You should be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, when I had my fall at work, they legally only had to keep my my job open for 6 months, and then they could have let me go, but they didn't. They kept it open for 18 months until I was recovered and went back. So you're probably going to be fine. You're going to be back there within 6 months for sure.
Yeah, they couldn't. The thing is, though, they couldn't lay me off, right? Obviously, you know, they wouldn't do. But there comes a point in time where that can be done, because obviously, you know, your staff, you've got a gearbox here. You know, if it's obviously a broken gearbox in any work situation, you need to replace it. You need to make sure that gearbox is working. Otherwise, the whole system slowly fails. So, from that perspective, that's peace of mind from my perspective. You know, and of course, another body will come in, I suppose. Well, I'll have to wait and see, because I get continuous feedback from my mate Rich and other guys who I work with. So I'm pretty much up to speed as to what's happened, even though I'm not there. So, you know, I'll just see how it goes. It might bring in a new guy who's top notch, you know, and the possibility is, if I have to accept the fact, if I can't physically quite do the job that I've been doing all those years, then it may be that I'm out to sort of suck it and see and try something a little bit different. Somebody mentioned to me about working in the office, but I've got to be honest with you. You know, me working in an office environment, I can't do it, mate. I just wouldn't be able to do it. You know,
most family firms tend to stick with their employees through times like this, because they value the people that they employ. Whereas the big firms, they don't care. They know that they can just get another welder, or another driver, or another forklift operator.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, Dave, as well, when you get to know people so personally. I mean, I don't overdo management. I mean, I've got mates within. I've got mates within the drivers, the warehouse, some bikers over the years. I mean, my good mate Richard now, and that's the level that I generally associate with. I also have to associate with the top levels, because sort of running the shifts and that and doing what I do, you need to all the time, which is cool. It's quite an explosive environment, as you can probably imagine. Haulage is not for the sort of profanity-wise is quite lively. Fights in the office, scraps in the warehouse are quite regular. Drivers being set fire doing their cabs is another thing, and that sort of stuff. But that's the environment I'm used to, and that's what I enjoy most. And to be honest, they also get to know you personally, and they like to stick, like you say, Dave, to things that they know. I tend to find a lot of time when something has changed, I've always found this, especially at Sea Transport, the company I work for, the fact that they'll bring in another body. That's all well and good and works great for a few weeks, and then they're fucking gone, mate. They disappear because somehow it just doesn't fit in with what is normal for them, you know?
Evening,
That's just
Skeggy.
Evening, Skeggy
Skeggy
boy.
boy.
All right, Skeggs.
But yeah, just to sum it up, really, mate. Like I say, as you know, with any injury, you lads have been in, especially you, Dave. You just persevere. I'm a stubborn sod. I've got to stick with it, mate. I've really got to make this one work because they've said to me that if you make a mistake on this one, you don't get a second chance. So I've got no choice, mate. Really, I've just literally got to try and go back to work too quickly and just suck it and see and just do everything I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah, right now it's the rest time. Later on, the pain is still there when it's rehabilitation time.
Yeah, I know. I think the Staples, because tonight at 2:00 has been a week since it happened, and then I believe next Wednesday, if I'm right in saying, is either the first physio appointment, and then I think it's either the Wednesday, I'm going to get mixed up, Wednesday or the Thursday. I've got to have the Staples taken out, and the Staples obviously taken out would relieve quite a lot of pressure. Because obviously, I've never been stapled together before. It's stitches and all that sort of stuff. But once the staples are out, it actually relieves quite a lot of skin pressure, doesn't it? Because it pulls them tighter as it repairs itself, obviously. Yeah. So that'll be quite nice. You don't get away from that pressure every day. It's getting more and more tighter, and it's fucking itching and doing all sorts of wonderful things because all the nerves.
Yeah, if it's itching, it's good. That means it's getting better.
Yeah,
mate. Yeah. And of course, it's hot as well because, under repair, they do get warmer. The body's doing its own thing, isn't it?
Mike says 15 years in the family business. You aren't just an employee there. You're part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say what you like. I mean, it is lively, and there is words every now and then. Of course, things get thrown about and this, that, and the other. But in a way, it's what they know. We haven't got fantastic numbers. We've got a container side of drivers, which is about 30 drivers. We've got and my side of it, which is about 12, 13, 14 various vehicles and drivers. You got warehouse staff, you got container staff, handballing staff, and then you got office staff. Relatively speaking, for a busy warehouse, it's quite a small number of personnel, but it is extremely busy. Yeah, of course you get to know people quite well, very well in quite a short period of time, and in that environment, you also, and this goes for anybody, you get to know people's likes, dislikes, their foibles as such, and if you don't fit in, you don't last very long. Mm-hmm. You really don't. You do not last very long. I've seen blokes leave there after an hour. No word of a lie, blokes crying on night shifts. I've had threats of jumping off the Orwell Bridge. I've had all sorts of shit, and people just saying, I just don't know how the hell you do it. I can't do this no more, and of course everybody's got a limit, and some people just don't adapt to working various shifts. They don't adapt to working 12-hour, 13, 14, 15-hour shifts, nights, days. It's a complete and utter body clock destroyer.
Stitch says, at least we know Weggy's ability to talk hasn't been affected.
Yeah, we haven't seen his arms waving around yet tonight, have we?
You won't see fuck all waving around tonight, mate, I'm afraid.
You're saving that for later.
I am to hear that.
You've woken me up. You brought it up, so I'm going to shut up now and just listen to you, lads.
Did you road test the new wheels today, Weggy?
What, the wheelchair?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. No, the new extended springboard on it.
Yeah.
No. Try on for sizing.
That might need a little bit of alteration because no human leg is perfectly straight.
No, it's not, mate. It does. I've looked at it. It already looks slightly painful, but give the young lad his dues.
Yeah.
He's he's come around, done a nice little job on it, you know, and it's made it out of nothing.
Has he
there's no
upgraded
FM radio.
for the weight?
You what?
Has he upgraded the suspension for your weight?
Let's put solid tyres on it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Peter, I will remind you, there is a particular post you put up about bus wankers.
Yeah.
Well, put it up.
Yeah, I saw that. Actually, you could do. You could get that sent off to Colin Furze.
Yeah.
Get the wheelchair sent off to Colin Furze. Get a 600cc superbike engine in there.
Oh, mate. I remember that one. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Was it a 600cc or was it 1,000?
No, he put a 600 CBR engine in it.
Did he? That was Colin Furze, mate. He's brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
He shot away that bloke.
Sure,
Brilliant
right.
engineer.
Oh, mate. There's no one like him. No one like him, is there?
No, he's a one-off.
Apart from Del Boy.
Oh. Other end of the scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there we go. Bus wanker.
Bus wanker. That's yeah. Have you not got a picture of the way on the way back as well? Yeah. I look real scared.
Look at the eyes. He's giving the death stare to everybody on a bike saying, I want to be
He's
there.
in a trance.
Yeah. I was the only one on the bus bar and driver.
I'll tell you who you remind me of there, Peter. Do you remember back in the, when was it? Probably late, I think it was early 80s, but possibly the late 70s. The Lee Cooper advert, "Don't be a dummy."
You bastard. Yeah.
Do you remember the advert?
Yeah.
Seriously, my mate was in that. My mate he was in it. Yeah, he was actually in it. Yeah, I mean, he was one of the dummies that was walking around. At the time, we were quite good mates. A guy called Dizzy Cook, and I can't remember how much he said they got paid for it, but he said he didn't want the money. He wanted the contacts for the eyes, and they wouldn't let him keep them. That was all the payment he wanted, but they wouldn't let him keep them.
And he weren't allowed to keep him. Oh, poor boy.
Ken says armed but not dangerous.
Yeah, I must admit, that thought crossed my mind. What the hell do bank robbers do now? Because that's how they differentiated between customers and I'm a robber. They covered their faces up. But if everyone else is covered up, what do they do? Is it stopping bank robberies now?
Yeah, well, they can't do bank robberies because they can't keep the 2 meter distance between them and the people they're robbing anymore. It's give me your money. No. I want your money. You can't have it because you can't come close to me. Okay, I'll see you next week.
I'll go to the cash point.
Yeah. I'll tell him I can only get my money from the cash point, which is right next to the police station. You want to come?
Oh, dear. No, anyway, so my only thing about obviously Peter putting that post up was the fact he added bus to wanker. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, piss off. Sorry, piss off.
See, what you needed, Pete, was a welder and a bit of metal, and you could just weld all the holes in that exhaust pipe of yours.
What Peter needed was a new machine called. What Peter needed was a new machine called Weld Wanker. That's what he needed.
You get that from Rimworld, can't you?
Probably.
Yeah, go on, Jay.
Try saying that all in one go.
Jesus Christ. Oh, dude.
Give me your money or I'll cough. Yeah. There's been a few people who've been arrested for coughing on the police so far.
What's
that? Mice just says, give me your money or I'll cough. And then Stitch says, Mice, I was just going to say the same thing.
It's fucking cold tonight, isn't it?
What's that?
What happened to you on Saturday anyway, Chris?
I got stuck in traffic for 3 hours, 15 minutes from home.
Were you
by the time I got out of it, yeah, I was in the car.
That explains it.
By the time I got out of it, I was in no position to drive for another 2.5 hours. I thought, fuck that, I'm going back home. So I ended up missing it.
All right.
That was Saturday.
It was lucky, really, wasn't it? It was lucky, really, for Mackie that. I mean, you could have obviously had it this weekend, but it's lucky for Mackie that it happened last weekend before obviously everything started shutting down.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because the original show was cancelled anyway, wasn't it? So it was nice for Mac to put on the latest one. But from what I see, because obviously Mackie put his video up, and it was nice to see a good turnout.
There was a few people there.
Lovely bikes, some lovely bikes.
Yeah. See, Skeggy put his ugly mug in there.
Yeah.
Skeggy. There he was with
one.
Yeah, and Rolf.
Stitch says it's rather cold.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, is that why my nipples are sticking out?
Yeah.
I've been cold all bloody day.
You're back in the UK, are you, Jim?
Yeah. We got back yesterday afternoon. I wasn't expecting to be on tonight. Obviously, I was due to be going out, but that got cancelled. So I've had a day of things changing and cancelling and all sorts of shit. So
that's a polite way of saying you lumbered with us, is it?
No. I did say last week I wouldn't be here this week because I was due to be going out. But
you made it.
I made it.
I don't know about up there. It's fairly warm down here. I'm sitting here. What are we now? Just gone 10 o'clock, and I've still got my back door open.
Yeah.
Still 20 degrees.
He's got his back door open because he's hoping some burglar will try and come in so he can whack him one.
I think he's still got a copy of RimWorld, mate. That's why he said that.
That's it.
I think Weggy and I are on the same path there.
They're welcome to come in if they want. If the dog don't get them first, I'll have them.
You know that.
I think I'll bite a bit harder than the dog too.
Probably. Moise says, I remember the time when I used to cough to cover up a fart. Nowadays, it's the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's gonna be... I'm everywhere.
Obviously, these things are coming in Monday, right? Of course, we're going down to 6, and I think Scotland have gone the same route now.
Yeah.
Down to 6 now. Obviously, of course, that is going to affect just about every possible motorcycle and any other event on the calendar, and that don't mean out in the field. It doesn't mean out in the pub. That means even at home. Now with parties and that stuff, and people just socialising. So, yeah, here we go again. Really, I'm just hoping. I mean, this fucking tosspot that's on the TV keep announcing this bullshit every other fucking month. He's sort of hoping and saying that, well, hopefully we're not going to stay in these new regulations for too long. But who knows? Who really knows what the hell these people are doing now?
I think this is the start of round 2.
Yeah.
It's been the start of round 2 for about a month now, because I've been looking at the scales, and it started up here, went all the way down here, and then it's just slowly going up because they released the quarantines and everything, and then the idiots start getting around, and all of them are younger than probably 25, and they just spread it between themselves and everybody else.
Yeah.
They don't do what they're supposed to do, and it's just constantly creeping up, which means people like us won't have a good Christmas this year. I was hoping it would be done for around October, November, but right now it ain't. But everybody said at the beginning of the year, it'll be over by August. I was getting that. It's going to be a lot longer than that. So it's probably going to be this time next year.
Yeah, until they've got a vaccine for this thing, it's going to be there in the background all the time.
They keep saying they got a bloody vaccine, and then all of a sudden they haven't. And then they've ordered like 10 million bloody samples of it.
Well,
I think what they do.
They were saying on the radio this morning that they've stopped the trials because someone reacted to it.
Extremely bad.
Yeah.
Well, if they lose 2 people on the trials, it's still better than losing, was it 53,000 we're at now?
Well, the
People on the
trouble
trials.
is
Yeah.
with trials, it's a small number. So one case on a small number is a lot worse than
On a big number.
100 cases on 1 million people. You know,
Try it
it's-
out on the pedos. If it kills them, no fucker will give a damn anyway.
That's true.
Exactly.
I'll take that one. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Oh, God.
pedos and politicians.
Pedo
Yeah.
Pete.
Wow, fuck off. Oh,
No, but seriously, they should have all the prisoners out. Right, you bastards, you've done this, that, and the other. You're on trials. Like it or fucking lump it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Pedos,
used to do
pedos
that
and
with the
politicians.
military. O2 Big Kevy says -4 here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
they're in
we
there.
reverse side, Kev.
That's still shorts weather.
Yeah.
Just
Don't be a
just like
pussy.
to say hello- like to say
And
hello
You're
to
a
people.
postman,
And if you come from Newcastle, it'd be shorts and t-shirt.
Yeah. Well, that's me anyway. Well, sorry, Pete. What did you say?
Huh?
It was Jim. It was Jim that
I
talked.
Oh, was
said,
it Jim? Was it? Sorry.
I said, are you a postman, Chris?
No,
Still
mate.
bloody shorts weather in -4. I mean, come on. Only people that wear shorts in that weather are fucking postmen.
Hey,
No.
Dave,
Or
Do you know what I used-
Scandinavian.
I used to
Dave.
work on a caravan park up in the Lake District, and we had 3 foot of snow up there. And all these northerners reckon that they're all bloody hard, and us the southern softies and stuff like that. And I was the only one walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. They're all walking around with bloody hats, coats, gloves, fucking balaclavas, scarves, fucking pocket warmers, hot water bottles down the front of the fucking trousers and everything. And then they're all out in their 4x4s and their tractors, and I'm out in a mini.
I think me and my wife are slowly swapping places because she's
Oh,
now
yeah?
saying, she's now saying, oh, it's quite.
Well, we've got to
warm
call
here.
you fucking Davina now, have we?
Yeah, he says it's quite warm here, and I said I must be missing the Philippines because I'm cold is 24 degrees.
Yeah, it's 40 degrees. I got on the fucking plane yesterday.
oh,
Skeggy
Jesus
says, ha 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 ha. I thought it was Pervy Pete.
No, Pete Purvis.
Hey, actually, Pete, how's the wrist? How's your wrist?
It's still there. It's still shite. It's more painful when I take the damn thing, cap thing on, let alone without it. But I think it's lack of practice. I think it's what it is. To be perfectly honest.
Christ. Sorry, Dave, just speaking. What a wanker, you know.
Big Peter
What
says,
a bus
join,
wanker.
I
join
was,
the
trying
stream.
I was trying not to go down the dirty channel because I know how
Yeah.
Dave don't like it, you know.
He had to invent an accident to cover up his RSI from fucking wanking too much.
Yeah, I reckon there's nothing wrong with his bike. Big Peter says, join the stream, call me Southern Softy.
You know. Hey, Dave, Suffolk Andy's not trying to get on, is he?
I haven't got him on the here. If I had, I'd kick one of these guys off.
Yeah, nobody else trying to get on, mate.
Sleep.
I've still managed to smile, but I'm just slowly going down.
Well, stop moving around.
I ain't got no choice, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
I'm getting comfortable, so I'm not moving my leg. I'm just shoving, just
Wriggling your ass about. Your ass goes numb when you can't move your leg.
I know, fucking. I don't know, mate. Sometimes you get yourself in a position you think, how the hell did I get there?
Yeah.
You really think, I don't know how to get back. But it is what it is anyway. So, Dave,
You.
just going back, we talked about industrial injuries. I know you're not sort of bike related or anything. Just remind us, folks, if you don't mind, what happened to yourself in your works, because that was a fucking serious accident you had, wasn't it?
Yeah. They still don't know exactly what happened, but as far as I can remember, 2 of the guys were talking to me as they were loading the back of the van, putting the seats in to go to the powder coaters. and one of them asked me a question, and he says, "Isn't that right, Dave?" And as we were walking around, I was saying, "Why am I swallowing all the time, and why can I not answer him back?" And I was trying to, I just kept swallowing, and that's the last thing I remember. Apparently, as I walked around the side of the van, I just dropped. Now I broke my collarbone, I fractured my eye socket, moved my teeth somehow. I don't know. It just went straight down like that, and they think they had a fear that it might be MS at one stage, but they can't get an accurate scan of my neck because I can't extend it properly because of the spondylosis. So they don't exactly know what's wrong, but
No.
the main reason why I was off for so long was because the insurers at work would not have me back until they had the results of a second MRI. And it took 8-10 months to get an appointment to get a second MRI.
Really?
Yeah. Strange thing is, I mean, everybody, I always thought that an MRI is just give you a scan and you're fine. But I felt my neck getting warm as the scan was going along it. I actually felt it getting warm. I thought, I hope this is normal.
Noisy, isn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Strange old thing.
But it's not easy when you can't move your neck to be able to get in a certain position. And at that time, I wasn't on my current pain medication that I have to relieve my joint pain, because for 20 years I lived with pain on a score of about 5 to 6 on a daily. Every day I'd wake up and I'd be 5 or 6 on that pain scale, and it'd go up to 10. And now, now I take these injections. I don't know what it's like to live with pain anymore. I mean, I can remember the things that happened and what I used to do to cope with the pain, but I don't remember how it feels anymore, which is a good thing because I don't want to feel that way again. But yeah, it was a scary time because there was all sorts of things that they were worried that it might be. And when they said we want to test you for MS, I thought, oh, right, that's really bad. But no, they don't know what it was. They just haven't got a clue.
No. No, I just sort of mentioned it because, you know, obviously you've mentioned it sort of briefly in the past. I mean, obviously we've spoken about it years ago. But I thought it'd sort of just be interesting for these guys and some of the people watching who just maybe sort of know just a little bit more about yourself, Dave, to be honest. Oh dear. But then you can do without throwing yourself down the road every now and then, I suppose.
Yeah, just every now and then. On average at the moment it's about every 8 years.
Yeah,
the last time was 2012, and that's when I got the camera because somebody knocked me off on a roundabout. And this similar sort of thing happened. The similar sort of thing happened where I saw. Well, at that time I saw them, and I managed to almost stop, and they just pushed into me and pushed the bike over. It's very similar to this one, where he pushed me into another car, which is. Unfortunately, you've seen the video, so you know. But it's about every 8 years or so I get a reported accident.
Guys, I've got to love you and leave you guys. I've got an alarm going off at work, so I've got to go and reset the alarms and go and investigate.
Okay, mate. Okay, thanks for coming.
Okay, mate.
See you later.
Chris,
See you now.
Chat to you soon, Chris. Boy, take it easy, man.
Yeah, you take care, guys. See you later.
Okay.
Big PC says, "Who am I, UK one? You uploaded a video a long time and a bike one as well. Are you doing a build on your old bike?" Well, I'm doing maintenance. I finally got the bike running because of COVID and everything. The bike had to stand, and because it basically November I stopped riding the bike because it was getting too cold for me because I'm old now. And December, I went to the Philippines, and of course, when I came back in January, things started getting bad with the COVID. So the bike stood for a good 7 or 8 months, which is not good, as you know, for the bike. So it wouldn't start. So I had to take the carbs off, clean those out, put them back in, and put them on. Finally, got the bike started. And what I noticed was my fuel tap was leaking. Now that's common when, as you know, when bikes are stood for a long time and then you suddenly start putting new fuel through. It can the rubbers are no longer good anymore. They can rot and they can move around. So the older the bike, and my bike's 28 years old, the harder it is for him to keep going. So it started to leak past. So I had a spare tap, and I put the new stuff in it and did a video of it because my channel has been sadly lacking in good content. So, and not rim well. So yeah, it's just maintenance rather than actually restoring it. And we've got a lot of comments, but first of all, welcome, Skeggy.
Hello.
Glad you could join us.
Yeah, well, you were pretty full when I actually came across to switch it on to come and join you. I was spending a bit of time with Anna.
Yeah, there's always room for another one. We can always switch and swap and switch, right. But you know that anyway, so that's not a problem.
Skeggy?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, mate.
Hi, Wags. How you going on, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm going to say good night to everybody because I've just about reached my fucking limit, to be honest with you. I'm tired. No, trying to get comfortable now. I'm still losing the will to live, to be honest with you again. So anyway, cheers for having us on, Dave. Cheers for hosting, obviously, because that was meant to be my turn, but we'll be doing some business, you know, with because obviously I'm going to be off a fair time, so we'll be doing my quota of hosting, obviously. But cheers for anybody who's obviously tuned in tonight, and Dave for having me on the panel again. Thank you, and great to see you, lads.
You're always welcome, mate.
No, mate.
Make sure you get better. And Yoda here, he's giving you lots of love as well. Because he's been here all the time looking after you.
Good old boy. Good old boy. Anyway.
That bang on the head was a little bit harder than I think it was, Dave.
Yeah.
Yep. See you later.
Take care, Wags.
Thanks for coming.
Take it easy, buddy.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Take care, mate. Good to see you.
So we do have room for one more if anybody wants to come up.
Yeah, come on, Andy.
Are not very good. You're supposed to wear them on both wrists. They're useless, she says.
No, she's supposed to wear them. These things.
Yeah.
They seem to do more pain than good, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dobby, I'm supposed to wear one on my right wrist, and every time I wear it for about half an hour, and my thumb goes numb. Pins and my thumb goes numb, so can't be arsed with it.
Yeah, I must admit.
O2 Big Kev, he's nipping off for his breakfast. Thanks for popping in.
Nice to see you, Kev.
See you, Kev.
See you, Kev.
Weggy needs a bucket. See you, Kev. Have a good one, mate. This guy here, some skeggy cruiser bloke, he's got some rubbish writing down here.
Play no notice of that rubbish.
He's a gibbering arsehole, that fella.
Yeah, he's been on the chat all night, so I don't know who he is. I guess Pete's doing his moonwalk. Yeah, don't tell us about Pete and his walking. He's going to fall over one of these days.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
See you, Chris.
More back in the bedroom where I belong. That's lovely.
Welcome home, Skeggy. Big Bag Biker Baz.
Yeah, I'm back.
Take care, Weggy. I'm catching up with the chat now. Be well, Weggy. Hope you're feeling better every day. Feeling better every day, mate. Yeah. Get well soon, Weggy. Take care, Weggy, and
backflip feet.
Oh, that'd be fun to try. To see you try and do. That's your homework for next week.
No, I tried that 6 weeks ago and I failed miserably.
I thought you were doing a Superman on the bike.
I was doing something. I don't know what it was. I tell you what, I almost do wish I had a camera like people had. I'm glad that I haven't, to be perfectly honest, because God knows what it was like. I'd rather not know.
The main.
I said you're a clumsy fucker, aren't you, Pete?
Going around having accidents.
No, my bike is very lazy. She likes to lay down a lot. That's all. I can't help that.
Interesting.
What do you
good, bad, or indifferent, right or wrong, your fault or somebody else's fault. It's always good to have a camera because you would know what happened then.
I look at it this way: at least he's here, and you know what I mean. It's like everybody who's had the accidents just lately. You know, they're becoming a little bit too popular amongst the people we know. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's Dobby, Weggy, Dave, Cat. It's just like, really,
yeah.
You know, right, you're not going out. I went, fuck off.
I think Weggy was getting jealous and he just wanted to go one better than I bloody did, to be honest. And I think he did
absolutely.
I think he went to the tattooist and says, "Can you put me a zip in my knee?" And the bloke thought, "Hang on a minute, does he want a tattoo of a zip, or I'll just put him a real one in? Tip, 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 tip."
Don't.
Yeah.
I wonder what. Do you reckon they use a staple gun when they do that? They just literally go.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, what a job!
It's a medical staple gun. It's healthy. It's clean. It's all been cleaned. You know, just like
let's face it. You've got to be slightly sadistic to enjoy doing that, haven't you? And you know whoever's doing it is going to be enjoying doing it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing
it. I mean, it's like when they do the drilling and stuff. It's pretty much like a Black and Decker we use in a garage.
Oh, Stitch! Now who's pushing it? That's
what happens when old people ride motorcycles.
Modern motorcycles. That's why I ride a Royal Enfield. I'm okay.
Stitch. I can grow to like you. You know.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can. If she keeps on like that, I'm going to like her a lot.
No, you won't. Your wife won't let you.
My wife already wants me to get rid of the bike. But that's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
Because I felt exactly the same. When I got home, I said, do I really want to go through this again? Do I really want to get on the bike again and do all this?
Can I just say, it's a poor choice of words, though, Dave, considering who's about calling it a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. It's my knee.
Well, I know, I saw the photo.
Yeah.
By the way, have you been shaving your legs?
No. That's just part of the skin problem. The hair doesn't grow through properly.
All right, yeah.
It's the psoriasis. I used to be 80 to 90% covered. But with these medications that I had, that's where all my spondylosis and arthritis comes from, is from my skin problem. But now that's down to like 1%. But I've still got the arthritis, spondylosis and stuff like that. But the skin is thicker and the hair doesn't grow through as much. I used to have no hair on my arms, but now it's starting to grow a little bit. There's something you didn't know.
I'll believe you, Dave.
Well, say shaving.
Dobby, I owe you and haven't even started.
I thought you shaved to make you go fast.
Well, I did used to be a goth, so I used to go out in high heels. No, I didn't.
No, you said it now, Dave. Yeah.
Righty-ho, then.
I was going to say stilettos, but I thought, nah, I better not say that.
I'm going to need you not to back up, I think, because I've got Stitch after me now.
Yeah.
You brought it on yourself.
Oh, yeah, thank you very much, Jim. You're such a mate, aren't you?
Mate, when Stitch gets a new case, mate, I'm just going to hide.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't like to be on the wrong side of fucking Stitch. I'll tell you that for
Yeah.
that.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be right behind you.
JB Model says, I watched them staple my stump up, and after I fell over and burst it open.
Oh, no.
And of course, Big Bad Biker Barrel says, ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah. Dave.
He's a clumsy fucker and all.
Yeah.
What for a broken toenail? Yeah, I broke my toenail. It's terrible. You got Weggy got busted up knee. You got Dobby up there with a damaged wrist. And I broke my nail, man. I mean, how am I supposed to go out now?
Well, could have been worse. Could have been a paper cut.
Yeah.
We all heard that, Dave.
Yeah, don't forget your boo-boo on the knee as well. You got a boo-boo on the knee.
Yeah, but I broke my nail.
Yeah.
I don't care about the nail. I broke my frigging nail.
Boo-boo.
Oh, nice. I love my nails.
One of the reasons I'm having to sell my bike is because of my accident.
Earlier, Dave, you were talking about nail polish and now high heels. Is there something you aren't telling us? I think by now everybody that watches this knows that I like to make people laugh, so not everything I say is 100% genuine.
If you say so.
Always found you to be reasonably honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, not when I'm talking live to people, only when I'm talking privately. Moist, he thinks he needs to come clean.
Yeah.
Well, I can honestly say I haven't had a bath in about 10 years.
Yeah, that's because you got a shower.
Yeah.
Because the council took it out, you see.
Thieving bastards.
No.
It's cold.
I tell you, were you using it to store the council pot for you?
Yeah, that's
it. No. I didn't have anything illegal.
Carl, have you been using the Vaseline on your lens again for that soft look?
No. I could have put a fingerprint on it, maybe. I don't know.
Or is it just
Where
dust?
is it?
Yeah,
I'll give it a white.
Dave's a closet cross-dresser. No. If I was a cross-dresser, I wouldn't keep it in the
Man. What's wrong with you? Oh,
Yeah. Horrible.
Oh my God, I thought I saw my mother.
If Weggy's watching, I hope he's not having a heart attack right now.
I'll take his mind off his life.
Pizza Hut, make another visit.
OMG, really, Carl?
Skeggy's had to get up and walk away. Look, fucking hell.
Yeah. Gone for a quick vom.
Yeah, I was eating my dinner.
I needed more beer. It affected me.
Yeah, not surprised.
I'll tell you what. I'm pleased I don't drink.
Just guzzle.
Well,
it doesn't hit the sides. It just goes straight into his stomach.
No comment. No comment.
Gives the cell a soft romantic feel. The bloke in the bottom bunk doesn't seem to mind. Oh dear.
I'm not sure they need to your gym.
Bez says I've gone blind.
Not good, is it?
No, not good.
I'll tell you what, I will not be watching this one back again.
I want to know where I missed it. I missed the first bit until I first commented.
No, you got to watch the beginning.
I quite often watch them again. I like watching the old ones.
Oh yeah.
Where we was allowed to draw on each other.
Yeah.
I don't know why they stopped that. The amount of people. The amount of people that had swastikas and penises drawn on them. Oh dear. Up your mum.
Come here, Dave.
The Stitch says there was actually some proper biker chat, Skeggy.
Was, yeah.
Were you watching the right channel, Stitch? Because I never talk about bikes.
Yeah,
That's
well,
Weggy.
It's typical they should have that when I'm not here. Maybe it's me that's the bad influence and brings it down, is it?
We didn't want to say anything, Skeggy.
You don't have to answer that.
Yeah. I was sat next to you the other day. You're definitely a bad affluence. Yeah.
Yes.
Bad affluence.
I'm quite often sober as a judge.
Sober as a rather drunk judge, would that be?
What is that noise?
I don't know, but somebody's playing with something. Somebody's having a fiddle.
I blame Jim. Let's all blame Jim anyway.
As long as there's no children
Nothing to
present.
do with me.
Yeah, my hands are. Yeah.
Ride invisible, Skeggy.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Come say hello. Come here. Come say hello. Say hello.
Hello, pussy. Oh.
No.
Talking to that.
No, not you, Skeggy.
What? Is he
But
talking
who?
to the pussy?
But who is the bad effluent?
Take me off the bloody screen.
We're getting all embarrassed. Oh.
Yeah, that's who the bad influence was, isn't it?
Well, he said take him off the screen.
Yeah.
Hey, that'll do me. I'm happy with that. Oh, Christ, I'm back.
Bring him back to say his piece, and then he's moved about again. Can you choose where people go, David?
Yeah, I can now. I can put anybody anywhere.
Wow.
It's
The
a new
power at
feature.
the end of your finger, mate.
It's a new feature they put at the beginning of last week.
Yeah. So where are we going to put Carl?
Well, Carl is now the host.
Oh, hello, Carl.
Carl says, see you next week, bye.
Manners is cough, please.
Yeah, you're going to lose viewers. Did you have a safe journey home, Carl, Saturday?
No! That's it, he's gone.
Is that all you got?
There, put you back up there, put you back up there. There you go, you're all back to normal.
Yeah, uneventful.
Yeah.
Yeah, A40 M6, A46. Ooh.
Oh, right, yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? Did you stay dry?
Yeah.
Well, we got all the way back, went to Wainfleet Bike Meet. We was there about 10 minutes, started pissing it down.
Did it?
I'm like, marvellous, isn't it? So we got on the bike, we got all his gear on, got on the bike, we went literally a mile up the road, bone dry. All the roads are bone dry and everything. I'm like, for fuck's sake.
One of them little snowstorms.
A localised cloud right over the top of the bike, and that rip. Yeah, it's a good day, a good ride, good day, and I really enjoyed it. And it was nice to see Mackie again.
Oh, yes.
What was the turnout for Saturday night?
What was what, sorry?
The turnout.
The turnout was very good, actually. It was down. I don't know. It sounded like it was down, but I think it was because they'd extended the seating area and everything, so you got more room to spread out a bit.
Oh.
But the actual bikes that were there and everything were glorious. It had to be mine with it. But we had, we had a good turnout. I'm going to say the prices weren't bad. The meals and everything looked nice, and I really enjoyed it. Nice to see Robin Treaser again.
What bike meet was it? Says Big.
Sorry, it was Cambridge Pin. on the 5th of September at the
Iron Horse Ranch.
Iron Horse Ranch at Market Deeping. It was.
Moise will come up with a comment saying exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Down to the postcode.
He's been the one that's plugged it every time, hasn't he? He's got it in order and got it on speed dial.
Is there any plans for anybody going to any bike meets this weekend before the government closes everything down on Monday?
Right. Well, on Sunday, it is the Mods and Rockers do at Unstanton. I was going to arrange the usual, but considering what's happened, I think it's daft to arrange it a day early just because you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's face it, you'd be a bit pissed off with yourself if all of a sudden you went, "Oh fuck it, I'm gonna go over there and mingle with all them people," and then you actually caught someone. So personally, I'm not arranging anything. I may just disappear over on my own, just to sort of have a look. But I'm not going to announce anything that I'm going out like that because, I don't want other people to, it's on, it's well advertised. People are aware it's on, so if they turn up, they turn up. And if I bump into people, I bump into people.
Yeah.
But it's one of them things where it's already well advertised. If it gets advertised anymore, because there's not a lot on, they could end up with way too many people there.
Yeah.
You certainly won't be able to keep.
Because there's usually a lot of bikers there, whether it be Mods and Rockers or us lot. So, Moise says, no point in me giving details now. What the kind of half-assed kind of thing is that?
People.
It makes no difference whether it's finished or not, whether it was last week or not. You're supposed to put the details up when we ask you to. Look at you. I don't know.
Calls himself a moderator.
Yeah.
I'll be back in a second.
All right.
Dear me, you can't take car anywhere, can you?
Squeal, piggy.
You are in one of those depot moods today, aren't you, Carl?
Yeah. Fuck up.
Have you not? Is your warden not there keeping an eye on you?
She came in before he went on air, which means she's not due to come around again for another half hour or an hour or so.
Oh, crikey. Yeah. I think we need to get her in there to sort you out, my man.
Stitch says, I'm going to watch a band and celebrate a fellow biker's birthday. Does that count? Of course it does, because you're going out somewhere.
Yeah.
May possibly be some alcohol beverages available.
Not very much fun when you're riding.
All right, Dave, just for you, Cambridge Pinstripe Bikers Meet, 5th of September 2020, from 11 a.m. Iron Horse Ranch, 2 High Street, Market Deeping, Peterborough, PE68EB. Excellent. It's about time.
Where's that?
Oh, shut up. John says, evening all. Evening, John.
Evening, John.
Where was John? John put his name down to go, didn't he? Where was John?
Yeah, the bastard.
Another one of the Suffolk crew that couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Ryan got a bite. You can't win.
Hold on a minute. Look, the only 2 Suffolk crew members that made, 3 Suffolk crew members that made it there went from Suffolk. One were from Norfolk, one from Coventry, and one from Lincolnshire.
Yeah. Representing Suffolk. That's what I like to see.
Moise says, depends, Stitch, only if you make it count.
Yeah, you got me representing Suffolk.
Oh, yeah. Goodness me.
Do you want to have a transfer to the Norfolk crew, please? Please.
Suffolk is just his wrists.
The Jaeger bombs make it count. Evening, John. I can't
how
say.
How can you drink that shit?
I can't say the word bombs because I get demonetized.
Didn't you just say it?
Yeah, no. Remember when I had I can't remember what it was now, but when I put the unexploded World War II bomb that was found in Birmingham, their YouTube wrote to me and says we can't do something or other.
We
I
can't
can't exactly
monetize
remember.
that.
Yeah, even though I'm not monetized channel,
So
they said
did
we
you
can't
just
monetize it.
retitle it?
No, because I was talking about it in there as well, and they sometimes they highlight exactly where it is that you do something or say something. That's why the following video later on says I can't say B asterisk asterisk B or B asterisk asterisk M. But yeah,
mad.
Anything that you make count counts. Simple as that.
Yes, it does. As long as you enjoy yourself, that's as far as I'm concerned. What's life about? It's not about what people say it's about, because if you believe what people say, it's about being born, working, earning a crust, retiring and dying.
Yeah.
You forgot masturbation.
No, there you go. You see, no masturbation.
No, that's not allowed.
No. This is why I ask. This is why I ask how you diddling. Yeah, so it's you know, as far as I'm concerned, as long as people enjoy life. I mean, look at that miserable bastard in the top right-hand corner. He hasn't enjoyed life in a while, has he?
No.
At that particular point, I was trying to work out left from bloody right. And I was thinking, don't pick on Dave. That's not nice.
Well, I could have always done that, and that would have been better.
Oh no, yeah, but you'd be right then.
Yeah, I love you too, mate. I love you
should
too.
have put Jim there while he's not here.
3 stages of life: birth, WTF, death.
I think that means what the fuck, mate.
You are allowed to say what the fuck, Dave.
Yes, I know I am, but
you can't get me demonetised for that.
But she didn't write that. She just said WTF, so that's what I put.
Don't give me that shit.
And
don't,
just so
no, you never read what it states down there. You always.
And just so other people know, if you do write something on the comment, that just means that I'm gonna say it.
That's not fair.
That's not fair. Yeah, he muted me.
It just came up. It says the host has muted your mic. The bastard. If you have that capability, why don't you ever do it to Carl? When he goes,
Well, I was the first one to start doing this.
You was. Can I just say, David, I've never been kicked off of this yet. I feel really
honoured.
Now, it's the time to do it.
Come on.
It's the time. Get going. Come on. Get it going.
Look, if I do it, then I'm pandering to him because he really wants me to do it. So, therefore, I have to do that instead.
Oh, look at that gorgeous fella, eh? Ladies, keep your eyes.
And poor old Jim is sitting there going, when are they going to start talking about bikes?
He's just thinking, what did I miss? What happened?
I'm just waiting for the painkillers to kick in.
Yeah, sooner the better. Oh,
yeah, one of the reasons the bike is going is because of my accident. The arm deterioration is setting quicker than expected. So
that's a shitter.
Really?
It is, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Sure.
They said it could be 10 years, but 3.5 years after me operation failed, I'm losing a lot of strength in it because of the muscle wastage, and it's in constant pain all the time. So
mobility scooter land, there it is.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
No.
Look, I know I'm old, but whenever I think mobility scooter, I used to think of those old blue boxes.
Oh yeah, the three
My dad,
wheelers.
used, my dad used to work at the place where they built them.
Yeah.
I have to make do with an automatic car.
Well, I have one of them anyway. You'll find out the posher people amongst us do.
Yes, well, I don't have a choice. I don't have to raise my arm for changing gear. So it is what it is. So
To be quite honest, when I was in wheelchair, I couldn't drive a manual, so I got used to driving automatics then. And now I've got used to my legs again, and it's just like, well, fuck it, what's the point in going back to a manual?
Yeah.
it's a lot
All
easier.
the bigger, cooler cars tend to be bigger engined and automatics, so.
Yeah. We had a Dacia Sandero Stepway.
Don't tell people
the
that.
hire car, and they were a fucking dreadful car. They really are terrible. You have to wait 30 seconds for the gear change, like Tiptronic, and it's like really.
The manual version's like the old Montego. It's like a wooden spoon in a bowl of custard.
Well, it's actually a Mark III Clio, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, hold on a minute. I've just realised something. We're doing something worse than not talking about bikes. We're talking about cars on a bike. Jet.
I'd rather talk about that than invalid carriages and shit like that.
Hey, some of them had Villiers engines.
The only one I have is the one with the 600 CBR engine in it.
There you go. Some of them had Villiers engines in.
Oh God, I remember those old things.
We'll convert your mobility scooter to hydrogen fuel cells. You'll all be fine. Nothing wrong with an automatic skeggy.
No.
Nothing wrong with an automatic skeggy. It's quite right. All the posh people drive autos. All the posh people drive autos because they're lazy and they don't want to change gear.
Well,
that's a good reason not to drive an automatic. Posh people drive them.
Tell you what, Dave, I'll give you my arm for a day, right? And I'll see how you get on driving a manual.
Don't do that.
Okay,
You know if he'd got your arm, he'd do nothing but wank with it, don't you?
I will give you.
You have to get the drive and change hands.
Okay, if you want my arm for a day, I will give you my entire skeleton without my meds for a day.
Okay.
And we'll see who's worth it. Bear in mind that when you're in bed, you can't even turn over because you'll be too much pain.
Would I be able to walk up the mountain?
No. You'd barely be able to walk.
That fucking
You
kills me.
you won't be able to bend your knees to get down to pick something up.
Bending knees is back on that subject again, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry,
bending
Weggy, if you're still watching.
Knees.
Bend the knees.
Don't mention knees.
I have to have one of these every month.
Your arse.
That looks a bit.
I was going to say up his bum, but
it's an automatic
rude.
injector.
What is this hangout turning into? I mean, 3 weeks ago we had Dobby on with his penis enlarger.
No, hold on a minute. He's pulling out the butt plugs.
This is not a butt plug. This is right inside there is a needle.
Oh yeah. Is that your penis enlarger?
No.
I don't do needles. Can you put it away, please?
These are very good. You see, in the olden days, you would have to put your strap around. You'd have to get the needle and push it in. There's nothing there, Skeggy.
I don't care. I just don't like it.
You'd have to push it in, and you'd have to squeeze and get the vein. These, no. All you have to do this is just push it down, press the button, and wait for it to click back up again, and then take it off, and that's it.
Is that like an EpiPen or something?
It's very similar to an EpiPen, yeah, but it's a completely automatic injector. When you press that button, unless this little green thing is pushing down, it won't do anything. But when you press the button, it automatically drops the needle, injects the fluid, and then retracts the needle.
It's like a javelin, isn't it? You go like that, you go, fuck off! Damn it!
Yeah, basically, without that, I live on a daily pain scale of between 5 and 6, and with that, I'm like every normal human, which is I don't feel pain at all until I hit my finger or something.
Not with this one, you're not.
I've no idea what a normal human's like. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
Normal.
Even Carl's not healthy. You know.
I can just see that in gloss black in the flame paint job.
It's escalating slowly, but you got to live with it, ain't you? It just means I'm going to be able to ride a bike again.
Who's the most crippled competition?
Yeah, good one, Stitch.
Well, right now it'd be me because I got a broken toenail.
Oh, good point.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point.
That's definitely the trophy winner. That one.
Yeah.
Haha, skeggy up your ass.
Yeah.
That's not what it said, David.
All right, Dave, we've got to have a bit of clarification here. Which toenail was it?
Left, big toenail.
Oh, big toenail.
Yeah.
Oh my God! How can you do without that? How are you surviving?
Well,
I don't know. I've got my leg up and I've got cushions under it, you know, and I'm giving it a little manicure.
Are you walking in circles now?
I'm hopping in circles.
He's getting R2D2 to carry him around. Jumps on his back and rides it round his flat.
No. Message deleted. Me, because I fall over a lot. Yeah, I'd say JB probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hop in circles.
especially when he pulls away from traffic lights.
Yeah. What's he
Carl's
doing?
underpants have gone up his arse again.
Oh dear.
Give himself a wedgie.
I'll be back in a minute.
That were a lot of trouble to go to show people your t-shirt, wasn't it?
Judging by the bed, it looks like he's getting ready for a new inmate soon.
I don't know.
Yeah. There you go.
He's probably going to get an internal.
Ooh. I can sympathise, Dave. I live with a daily pain scale of 3 to 4. Can't remember what it's like to feel to be pain free. Yeah, I was very much like that at one stage. For 20 years, I think it was, I was like this. And it's only been the past 6 years that I've been able to get a lot better. I can work now properly, whereas before I had to be very careful at whatever job I did. I had to make sure I was comfortable and working correctly. And I was lucky that the people that I was working for understood this, and they would help me out all the time. They made sure that all the stuff that I needed was never on the floor. It was always lifted up onto racks and shelvings and stuff like that, so I could just easily pick it up and weld the stuff together and carry it on.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Carl, did you snap it off?
Snapped it off, lobbed it and then run away.
No, it's just a back spasm.
Oh, is that what they call it now?
You need some of that morphine, Carl.
Yeah, but did he enjoy it as well?
Yeah, I was going to say, I can post him some morphine over. That's what he wants.
Want something?
Have a word with Weggy. You don't seem to like it.
Nobody particularly likes it. Although it's the only thing that keeps me fucking upright.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess I've got a weird thing about needles. Can't do needles at all. And every time you go for a simple blood test, they go, oh, come on, you baby. How can you be frightened of needles? Look at your tattoos. And I'm like, it's not
totally different. No, totally different.
Tattoo needles that long.
Yeah.
Injection needles that
It's
long.
not even that. It's not even that. It's when they turn them upside down and they go. And
You
the
feel a
little
little prick.
top. When needle comes, that's what frightens me. Sorry, David. When it arrives.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of these pens. You see, you never see the needle unless you lift it up and look at it. You
That's
never see the
probably
needle.
worse. That's like you never see it coming.
Yeah, but
I'll be like, is he gonna no, I can't do it.
But to be fair, I still do that. I go, no.
You still wince.
Yeah, I still go. You see, I have to remind myself to relax, relax my leg, because if I don't relax the leg, and the muscle is tense, it just really hurts when it goes in because the muscle's trying to pull. So I have to remind myself to relax my leg, and then press the button. And I don't know between one and the other injection whether it's going to hurt or not. Most of the time, I virtually feel nothing, but occasionally I will feel it and it will go in. I'm going, oh, hurry up and finish, and then I finish it. But yeah, occasionally it hurts.
Where do you inject yourself?
My leg.
Does it give you any sort of muscle cramp?
No.
I mean, my mate has a similar thing that he has to give himself for psoriasis.
Yeah. So it's a biologic that he's having.
And it gives him like terrible cramps in his muscle, only the muscle that he's just injected it into.
Yeah.
But it literally gives him terrible cramps in his muscle for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm lucky. I mean, the stuff I have is primarily for my joints and rather than the skin, but its side effect is it's very good to keep the psoriasis away from my skin.
Yeah.
Which is why now I don't take any other medication, whereas I used to take cyclosporin and methotrexate.
Well, there's no need to swear, David.
Both of those are immune suppressants. So if I was still taking those at this time, I would be in one of the high risk categories because I would be medically reducing my immune system. And obviously with COVID and everything, people with immune problems are more...
You said the word.
I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter. They're not going to demonetize it because I'm not monetized.
Now you tell us.
You bastard.
Next will be so bloody
wanking, fucking bastard, piss.
Stitch says, "Gotta love the morphine." Yes. However, if you have morphine for too long, it can have other side effects. You can lose your teeth.
No choice really. I've had everything else. The next step is Oromorph, which I really don't want, but yeah, stay on this as long as I can. Quite honest, I'd like to see if I can go backwards onto something I used to have. You know, because they worked for me, but I was on them too long. I was on Tramadol for 15 years. Apparently, you're only supposed to be on them for a maximum of about 3. It's one of them things where, well, it's already fucked up me insides, so hey ho.
It's what we live with.
Here's to healthy living.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Yeah, he lettuce. It'll do it. Sort it all out.
I'm going to extrapolate here. Kenneth says, "Dave, I have to be careful how I lift objects now. I've fused 4 vertebrae in my lower back."
Yeah. Actually, my dad's got the same thing. He's got 4 fused vertebrae in his back, and they offered the same operation to me, and I said no after finding out the rate of how it worked and how it didn't. And then when I was paralysed, I says, well, fuck it, you may as well do it. And they went, oh, we can't do it now because we could paralyse you from the waist down. And I'm like, hello? Already? So I went, no, you don't understand. You could walk again. And I'm like, but I'm not walking, so just do the fucking operation. Because, bearing in mind, put yourself in my position, at that time, you really don't think you're going to walk again.
No, of course you don't.
Yeah.
You know. So, you know, that was me. I was in a wheelchair. I was riding trikes. I went walking again. And then all of a sudden I started to get a little bit of a movement in my toes. And
getting a little feeling.
Yeah, it just came on from there. I've still got no feeling in my left leg, my left knee to my left ankle, but hey, I'm up and about and riding a bike, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't imagine going through anything like that. That must have been terrible.
I mean, I look at it this way, Dobby. At least I ain't split my toenail open.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
see, Dobby, although we talk about these things, it helps us talking about it, and it also tells other people that there's always hope for other people.
You've got,
you don't ever want to want it. You don't ever want to feel it or experience it.
No.
But if anybody out there does, then they know they can carry on and keep going, whatever.
Yeah.
And if you ever did, you would also know that you will be fine. You will cope. You will cope. Everybody always copes with the situation they're in.
There's a way out, and there's always an answer.
You learn to live around it. You learn to live around it.
You go through that stage, whereas I went through a stage thinking, well, that's it, my life's over. You know, and apparently it's a common thing. But I really did think, well, that's it, you know. But my mates put things into perspective because they sort of went, well, you're a twat before, you're still a twat now. What's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pull your fucking finger out your arse and come on down pub for a pint sort of thing, you know.
JB says, I might have to turn my bike into a trike. I should find out in a few weeks. I hope you won't need to. But like we're all saying, if that's what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I won't say why, but I know why. But I you know, it's Gordon's not sort of.
Yeah, that's up to him to say if there's anything.
Well, yeah, it's not good.
Let's put it this way: whatever the outcome, I hope it's a positive one for him. Fingers crossed for him.
With me, it was after I met my fiance at the time, which is now my wife. She was the one that talked me around into actually going to the doctors because I'd always known there is no cure for what I've got, and I was just living with it, and I was just resigned myself to never being better and just being the way I am. And it was only because she forced me virtually to say, you go in, get yourself sorted out. If the doctor says no yet, then get yourself on a waiting list somewhere until there is something. And it was her that sort of proverbially put my foot up my ass to say, get out there and sort yourself out. So I did. And
David, you used a profanity.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you have to. Not always. Sometimes.
Dobby got a new bit of pussy in his life.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got 3 pussies in my life now. She's now buggered off. This is typical of a female. As soon as she gets a chance to show herself off,
talking about that, Dobby, and you didn't know this, I'm going to say good night to you all now. I had a crappy couple of days and still recovering. Stitch. So she's doing as well. And as you said,
she went out and got
woman.
wankered the other night, didn't she?
Well, she's going to get wankered again at weekend by sound of this.
See you, Stitch. Take it easy, mate.
Take care, darling.
Yeah. Take care, sweetheart. Just look after yourself.
Yeah, as always.
I don't care if you look after yourself or not, as long as you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, so, I mean, once I move to Turkey, I might sort of look at getting a 250 or a lightweight bike that I can handle with my arm.
Yeah.
But, I mean, my days of riding big bikes are definitely over.
Yeah, still up to 250, mate. Or a 125 or a 50.
I wouldn't
Or
go as low as a 125.
A nice lightweight Himalayan.
Yeah, I thought about Himalayan because you're quite upright on them anyway. So
very.
Yeah.
It's something to think about later on. But obviously, big bikes they've had their day now for me, I'm afraid.
When
same with sports bikes with me.
Yeah, I'm saying when they've been your life, it's hard to give it up, isn't it?
Yeah. But,
but with some of the roads and some of the where you're living, maybe in Turkey, the Himalaya might just be just a thing. Because if I was if I was going green laning, or not so much green laning, but in areas where it was a bit rough and ready, I would have gone for Himalayan over the Bullet.
Yeah.
You would you'd be better off with the Himalayan here than you would there, because the roads are a lot better than they are here.
Yeah.
Obviously you're referring to the road up on the mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, the normal roads, they are 100 times better than they are here. You don't see potholes and stuff in the road.
Yeah, I know, because you don't get the cold temperature so much on most of the roads.
It's not even that. They just look after the roads.
Yeah, let's spend the money where it should be.
Well, yeah, if the roads need replacing, they replace the road.
Yeah.
Simple as that. They don't piss about and say, oh, yeah, it's going to cost too much money to do that. They go out and do it.
To be fair, it's normally because there's been a landslide or something, but... Earthquake, sorry. My mistake. My bad.
Yeah, well, we had a 2.9 Tuesday.
I know this is daft, but this is why I like the UK, because we don't have any shit like that, you know. Our weather.
You say that there was one. Where is it? Leighton Buzzard was the epicenter.
It don't matter. I don't live in Leighton Buzzard.
Was it a 3.1? I think the other day in the UK. What was it? Wednesday. Wednesday? No.
It's like, you know,
Monday.
Compare us to the rest of the world. We do all right weather-wise. We're not hot. We're not majorly cold. We're just middle of the road. I'm happy with that. If it gets too hot, I can't fucking breathe. If it gets too cold, I can't function.
But I mean, we was over in Turkey 2 years ago when they had the big one out in the Aegean, and that was 7.4.
Yeah.
Now that was 112 kilometers away from us, and it shook the house and actually cracked some of the walls.
Yeah.
We've got a solid stone house, and then 3 weeks later we went across to Kos to sort something out. And while we were there, we had a 6.4 aftershock, and the whole building just started going like that. But because you live with it, you're used to it. You don't think nothing of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. No.
I wish my moved like that.
You just want someone to rock your world, Dobby, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
JB says basically what he's got is playing on his mind a lot. And plus, he's going to park the trike here anyway.
Yeah.
Which is not good. What are the Bullets like to own and ride? I keep looking at them.
I quite like mine.
I like mine as well. It's the only bike I've got to ride at the moment anyway, but yeah. It's first new bike I've owned as well.
I think it's one of them things, isn't it? It's like, don't expect it to behave like a 1960s bike, and you'll not be far disappointed. But yeah. in actual fact, the opposite, you'll be impressed.
Just don't do what a chap done that I know. He actually took the rubber spacers out of the fins.
All right, yeah.
And then wondered why the engine was vibrating so much.
Yeah, mine doesn't have them in. Mine never had them in.
They are supposed to come from the factory with them in, because it actually stops the fins vibrating.
I wondered if it was certain models, because mine.
The 350 and the 500 Bullet.
Yeah,
they're called models. They have the rubber spacers in between the fins to stop them vibrating.
Yeah, and the classic from Euro 2 onwards. Yeah, from Euro 2 onwards, they had them in there.
Yeah. Never had a problem, and mine's not, like I say, it's not got them in. It's not got them in the original photos, so I don't know why.
The guy that I know, he took them out and chucked them in the bin because he thought it was part of the packaging.
That's probably what your guy did.
Yeah, I can believe that, actually.
Biker Bear says he needs a new tap washer.
Does he?
Yeah, apparently.
I'm assuming he means fuel tap.
Not necessarily. He could be talking about his kitchen sink.
He could be talking about his kitchen sink.
Anything goes on in this hangout, you know.
Malday, Skeggyland. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Malday, Skeggyland.
Yeah, I'm glad you can read that.
What?
That's good. That's good England.
No, I mean, to be quite honest, I mean, I love England. The way I see it, we have got so much that I've not seen yet in the UK that I want to see. And day by day, I'm by watching videos and things like this, I'm gradually finding out more about the UK that I didn't know existed. You know, I mean, my hometown of Mansfield, there are thousands of bloody tunnels and things, you know, like running underneath it that were all built back in the 18th century and 16th century and things. And I'd love to go down there. You're not allowed down there, supposedly, but there are ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to do that sort of thing. If only I could walk distance.
Calm Biker's getting around a bit and he's got his little post-it notes on everywhere he's going, and
25 mil Baz.
Yeah, wash, basin, tap. So I told you it'd be a kitchen sink or something.
Yeah.
You get everything, all sorts in this channel.
We say
is it actually a tap, or is it one of these lever things you have nowadays? Because if it's a lever thing, it's a spigot, and you have to actually buy the whole spigot that actually goes in.
It all depends. You say 25 mil, it could be 15.
Could be 15.
Could be 52.
It could be some strange foreign piece of rubbish that's 12.78.
Are you insinuating Baz wouldn't buy cheap?
I never said cheap, did I?
Could be American.
Oh, look at that! This beer is evaporating, Dave.
Yeah, it's evaporating. Then you got
what sort of an establishment are you running here?
Yeah, a teetotal one. I don't know where you got that beer from.
Me,
winter's coming.
Let me just go full screen. That's a
winter's
nice looking
coming.
mug.
Oh, sorry, it's here. Fucking hell, that fast, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a nice looking mug, that is.
It is. Only thing is, it's because it's
oh, no,
it's a litre.
It's a litre.
And the problem is?
There's no problem. It's just that when you throw a bottle in it, it seems to disappear.
Yeah. It's half empty by the time you filled it.
Yeah. You get a good head on it, though. Hey, Carl.
It gives good head. It gives good head. Yeah.
Who don't like good head, eh?
Oh,
David don't know what we're talking about now. He's like, no.
Yeah.
If things work out for me later, how you fancy a tour to North Wales?
Who the fucking hell are you talking to?
JB Models.
Yeah, no, I know, but
Yeah,
who's he talking to?
No idea. Anybody.
I don't mind. I'm quite happy with the tour of North Wales. Done a couple.
It's full of foreigners.
I know. I mean, you have foreign road markings, and you have road markings and signs in foreign as well. But you know,
it says things like a RAF.
A RAF, yeah. I mean,
or head loop.
And meanwhile, you're going, what the fuck does that mean?
Carl.
It's looking at good ink. Go on.
Carl, it's a lever tap.
Lever tap. That means it's got a spigot thing that you have to actually buy a little thing that's about yay size, and you shove it in.
That could be a lever tap, not a lever tap.
Leather.
Leather, as in leather, not lever.
Cow.
Not leather, as in the material.
As in a dead cow.
Yeah, you have to get some dead cow and stuff it in.
That's probably what his washers are made of. You never know.
Okay, so air cooled is that enough? I'm going.
Night,
Call
air
it a
cooled.
night. Night all. Night air cooled.
Yeah,
Thanks for
see
popping
ya.
by.
Bye, buddy.
Night air cooled. See you air cooled. And
See you, mate.
Yankee,
Enjoy.
Yaki da, boyo.
Yankee da boy.
Yucky.
Yucky da boy.
Fucking hell.
Is that
I didn't
right?
know you could speak Welsh, Dave.
Is that a road marking?
Yeah, probably.
I'm sorry. I'm fighting sorry for this Arif fella that's all over Wales. Because
Araf.
Araf.
he speeds everywhere. Because I keep telling him to slow down.
That's right. I've noticed that.
Slow down, Araf. No, I'm not Araf. I'm all right. Hey.
I've got to go
Headley
about.
gets about a bit, doesn't he?
Okay, cheers, Carl. See, Carl, you're a plumber now. Or ping
Yeah.
ping with Ken.
Yeah, Headley gets about over there as well, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier on the if you leave it on it. Look at this.
Yeah.
Not easy to leave it on it.
Thank
Leave
you,
it on
Mike.
Oh, look.
Thank you, my good man.
Why only you?
Well, because he's being silly and put it on main screen.
Yeah.
I know what I'm drinking, which is some strange amber ale.
Amber
Really
ale.
strange amber ale.
I've got.
I was gonna
Mine's
say-
ruby.
That says it all.
Yeah.
What was yours, Carl?
Don't you bloody start on me, Dobby, you soft southerner.
Mine's ruby. Ruby ale.
Yeah, but at
Hobgoblin
least it's not
Ruby.
goblin.
What's so soft about that?
Yeah, there.
It's non-alcoholic. It's
Bex.
Buster beer.
Ah,
Yeah.
you southern softy.
No, I had my first pint in 6.5 weeks tonight when I went to the bike show, and I treated myself to a pint, and that was it. Because I've been off my meds for the last 2.5 days.
Ah, you're
Yeah.
So I
right,
thought I'd treat myself to one, but I didn't want any more than that, just in case.
To be fair, I'd sooner be supping Guinness, but it's not as cheap as it.
Mm,
No.
yeah. It's not as cheap as Aldi beer.
Oh, no.
I was it? I got 12 beers, 15 quid. 12 ales for 15 quid in Aldi this.
You can't fault that, really, can you?
No. I mean, it's not the best ales in the world, but
Oh, they don't bad.
Ale is ale.
5.
yeah. Yeah, 'cause that's where this came from. I've got a speckled hen,
Oh, nice.
hobbling gold,
That's
and,
nice.
My lad's
and a
just
Doom
turned
bar.
around- He's just turned around and said, I've got a load. That's Doom Bar, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 5.
Yeah.
I've got 5 bottles of Doom Bar at work that's out of date. I've just not bought it for you yet.
You're gonna get the shits.
No. It's not like Shipston's. Shipston's used to do that for you. Or
All
Shitstones.
peculiar, yeah. Shitstones all peculiar.
Reminds me of that.
Oh.
Is that Dobby?
Probably.
After Vindaloo.
Yeah. No.
Dobby, about as strong as Foster's.
Ken's not far wrong.
Oh, no. I can't stand lager. As you're running backwards and forwards to the toilet all night.
It does
Yeah,
that.
well, I'm old
too
enough to
fizzy.
be doing that anyway.
Most says going to a non-alcoholic beer is like going to a hooker for a hug.
Yeah, maybe it might be, but I'd even take the hug right now.
You see,
Yeah.
I grew up where real men. I grew up where real men drunk bitter, and the older men drunk mild, And the ladies drank lager with a little dash of lime in the top, or a little bit lime, blackcurrant in the top. So I cannot see lager as a drink for men. I don't know. I just can't do it.
I used to drink snake bite, fairy liquid, fucking anything with alcohol, basically.
I used to drink snake bites when I was about 16. The only trouble is, having had a really, really bad time on cider when I was 21, I've never touched cider since I was 21.
Yeah. 15, 16 pints of snake bite.
21st, Jim, my 21st birthday, my dad bought me a, what do they call it, a demijohn.
Yeah. Scrumpy?
Yeah, Scrumpy Jack. Scrumpy Jack. And he says, I bought this, and he gave it me apparently to put on the table for everybody. I didn't take it that way. He gave it. It sat on my shoulder all night with me swinging from it. And there's quite a few photos of me hugging the toilet, hugging the sink, hugging the bath.
Did you spill any on the table?
Apparently not.
Oh, right, because that has stripped the fucking varnish off.
Yeah, I didn't spill anything until I went to bed, and then I spilled it everywhere.
Yeah, like, I used to drink. There's a drink called Fairy Liquid. Don't know if you ever tried it.
No.
It's black.
My mother gave it to me once when I was swearing.
No. No, this stuff was like snake bite with blue curacao. It's a light liqueur, and it goes green, and it actually looks like Fairy Liquid.
Yeah.
You drink that all the time. Red Witch, you fucking name it.
It's pretty much what that fucking crocodilo shit tasted like in the 80s.
Yep.
Ain't Don't Knows had mild B and bitter.
Yeah. I must admit, I do like mild. Sorry.
No. What the hell are you doing, Charles?
Well, I like mild because it's a stout, and I like stout.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what we need one night. We need a beer night to discuss good quality ales. You know why?
Why?
It'll give me a good excuse to buy some fucking decent beer in.
I reckon Carl should host that one.
Mm.
Yeah.
I used to drink Spitfire quite a lot as well.
I've just had a bottle of that, actually. Just had a bottle of that. This sounds really bad. I just had a bottle of that before these two. I'm not an alcoholic, honest. The only time I drink is on these fucking hangouts.
Which is why you would like to have a hangout every night.
Yeah.
There you go.
Literally, just had the Spitfire.
Good old Aldi. Good old Aldi. They get some half decent ales in at a decent price.
That's some pretty good,
Aldi and
that's some pretty good stuff, that Spitfire.
Yes, it's very nice. I like the Doom Bar.
Not too bad.
Ale. I'll tell you what's not bad here, ale either, is that Trooper. You know, the Iron Maiden one?
Yeah,
Iron
that's
Maiden
not bad. Yeah.
That's quite nice.
It's like they haven't had it in a good while here, but the Medusa is nice.
Very nice. That's a ruby ale.
Yeah.
Another one I used to drink was Nuki Steam Bitter.
Yeah. Steam ale.
Yeah, and that was fucking nice.
What,
They
Nuka?
don't make it. No, Nuki in Cornwall.
Nuki. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yuki. Yeah.
Yeah, Nuki Steam Bitter it was called, and they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
Don't think I've ever had that.
Skeggy's hangout, good for what ails you, or ales are good for you.
Good for you.
Or
I do-
that ales
they're
that's
both.
good for you.
I do like this chap, I tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know
Right,
whether it's almost
Yeah.
like it's got everything lined up, isn't it? Ready
Yeah.
for that comment will do.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah.
He just waits for somebody to put some directions down, so we go that one.
Yeah.
Right, Jen, I'm going to call it a night if it's all right.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No, you're not allowed.
no. Sit there.
Dobby, go and do something interesting like fall over.
Huh?
I said, go and do something interesting like fall over.
Well, no, I can't do that on tap. That takes a lot of time and practice.
It's
I
the
have to
comedy.
do it just right. I've got to
It's
look
the
after my
comedy
toenails. You see. I've got to look after my toenails, and I don't want to damage any of them.
You got to have words with your stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a personal question, Dobby?
Oh, good God. All right, 3 inches. What?
No. Why are you using your son's bedding?
That's not my son's bedding. It's mine. It's my bloody bedding. My Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you wonder why you've not got a woman.
Yeah.
If you want to,
This way I've got to see a lightsaber or two.
Yeah. You're not going to wank on your own bedding, are you?
And no, precisely.
Dobby, all I can say is if you want a woman in your life at this moment in time, it's 2020, you need unicorn bedding, mate.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I will scout on Amazon as soon as I get off here. I'll go straight onto Amazon and try to find one.
Lying bastard.
That or fucking rainbows, because they're all this fucking LGBT shit, aren't they? Show them your feminine side.
I tell you what, Dobby, it's such a shame that you had your fucking accident and I couldn't meet you in person. I really want to.
Yeah.
I wish the feeling was mutual. I mean, the feeling's mutual.
I would imagine at the end of the day, you assumed have had your fucking accident.
We will make sure we sort it out next time, mate. I promise you.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. No
You
problem.
and Carl as well, and you, Dave.
Oh no,
I
you don't want to meet Carl.
I don't need to worry about that.
You don't want to meet Carl. Carl will be feeling your breast and having a reach around before you know it.
Oh,
Well, that's the best offer I've ever had for a long while. I'll see you next week, Carl.
You heard it here first. And you said, I've got something to hide?
I'm going to
Are you going to let him play with your happy sack?
That's where monetizing.
Right, shut up. I'm going. I will see you all later.
no, mate.
See you next
Thank
week.
you,
Thanks for coming.
See you later.
See you later,
Bye.
Bobby.
Now bugger off.
Yeah.
Moise says,
didn't like
King
him
of copy
anyway.
and paste.
What?
Moise
What? I
says,
don't know.
yeah, King of copy and paste. Night Dubby.
Oh, all right, yeah.
Yeah, call it a night Dubby. He can't fall over Skeggy. He might fall on his pussy.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
I've got, cat. I've got one you can borrow, Dubby. Well, unfortunately, Dubby's gone
Unicorn.
now. Yeah.
Oh, a unicorn. Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Oh,
yeah.
right. Oh. I thought I was thinking about pussy then.
Well, I just read the comment about pussy, and then she says, "I've got one you can borrow, Dobby." I'm not being funny, Tracy, but that's being a bit forward.
Yeah.
Hey,
I know.
Mouse did put cat afterwards, you know.
He did.
Yeah, just a little bit later, that's all.
Yeah.
Ken says, nah, get a Primark, Dubby. John says, night, chaps. Night, John. Thanks for coming.
Right, John.
No,
Yeah,
no.
mate. And hopefully see you at the next official meet.
Whenever that is.
Yeah. Whenever we're allowed.
Then call it a morning. When you wake up.
Um,
I think
He said, call it a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then call
I
it morning
just
when you
wait
wake
to
up. Yeah.
Okay.
See you, Pete. We'll be well. And see you, Dubby. All caught up. So, is anybody in chat want to ask the panel a question before we all start slowly disappearing and you've only got me who knows nothing?
What about motorbikes?
Is there a delay?
Yes, there is.
There is, Jim, but it's like a white hole.
Oh, right.
Spewing time.
You sometimes you wish you'd never gone there, don't you?
Thanks for winning, Cole.
That was a bit of brain tissue.
He's got to get it back in somehow.
So I only wish I was going somewhere the weekend.
I'm going to go for a ride somewhere on Sunday.
Yeah, like I say, I'm so considering because fucking hell, I tell you, the weather is looking better and better. I can't even check my weather on my phone.
Well, Sunday's going to be sunny,
Yeah.
and then it's going to be sunny again.
But they're forecasting about 25 degrees, aren't they? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Bloody hope so, because I'm freezing.
Yeah, so they're forecasting about 25 degrees. So theoretically, I know for a damn fact Unstanton's going to be chock-a-block. It's a long way for Carl to go, that is.
No, I ain't coming.
Hey, the way I see it is if people just get on the fucking bike and go for a little ride somewhere, go to,
I'm actually thinking of Dom's bike stop.
well, anywhere. Is there a delay?
Any deeper car, and you're going to need a mining license.
That's the. Oh. Is it that one?
Yeah, that one.
Got his finger that
It's
far up.
all the way up.
All the way up. Where you can stroke the inside of your eyeball. Fucking hell, I'm getting off on that Yeti.
Strange group of people I have on my hangouts, isn't it, chat?
It's better than being boring, though, isn't it?
Oh,
Hey.
Definitely. If you can't laugh at things, what's the point in living?
The worst thing is, Jim, people think we are boring.
Well,
If we're boring, then what does it say about their life?
Do you know what?
Oh, ow.
I'll tell you, chaps, I've got to go for old man wee.
might go.
That's one where you go and stand in the corner of the wardrobe, isn't it?
Well, I believe him. Listen for the rattle off the stainless steel. No. Yeah, listen for the rattle off the stainless steel in a minute.
Gordon says, might go for a trip to Matlock and around.
Well, I mean, he lives in the fucking Peak District, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or it's on his doorstep. It's one of them things where it's a beautiful area to go riding.
Mike says, strange people. Oh, good. I'm in the right place then.
That's right. Completely the right place.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
I mean,
I'm planning one last long ride up to Yorkshire to see me boy.
All right.
And then I have 3 people that want to buy Scarlet, so she'll be going, I'm afraid. So,
How far up Yorkshire you coming, mate?
he lives in Ellen, Halifax.
Right, Ellen, yeah.
So I'm gonna go up there and check out his new bike. And you listen to his old chap. He was looking at some 1000cc Honda thing. And I said, why don't you go for a GSXR 750? So he went out and found the one he wanted, which was a Rizzler Suzuki.
All right, yeah. Nice looking bike.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I don't really like sports bikes. But
no, but that looks pretty.
There's the odd one that's really nice. And
yeah, I mean, that's
the paint job makes it. Yeah, the paint job makes it, don't it? I quite like the. I know this might sound a bit daft, but I quite like the Dairy Milk one.
Yeah. British Super Sport one, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. Just because it's different and you don't see it very often.
Yeah. Well, he's always liked the Rizzler Suzuki.
Yeah.
And he sort of looked at all these different bikes, and I said, well, why don't you look for a Rizzler Suzuki? Because you keep going on about you want one. And he went out and he found one, so...
Yeah, there's a bloke, local shop here in Skegness, and he started doing Ron Haslam copies. So the road legal Ron Haslam race bike copies, and they are absolutely bloody gorgeous.
Which one's that? The VFR?
I think it is. Yeah, it's all black, but he also does a Norton one as well.
The Norton one was a JPS.
Yeah.
The JPS Norton. That was all black and gold.
That's right.
And the VFR was all white and silver.
Yeah. But he started doing them. And obviously it's only a paint job, but I tell you what, they're fucking selling well.
Well, is that the guy, he's actually using the GSXR as the base frame for the Norton. It's not actually the rotary Norton, is it?
No, the ones he's got are Nortons.
They are the rotary Norton, are they?
Yeah, they are Nortons, yeah.
Okay, now that'd be worth a lot then.
Oh, they're not cheap.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, no, the rotary Norton, Christ, you're talking about 20 grand.
Yeah, that's right. I think actually his last one he had up at 18995. And I was just absolutely in love with it, which is strange because I'm not a sports bike fan these days. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. What's that? CBF 190X.
Yeah.
It was on sale in China.
Quick one from Kenneth. He says, quick one, chaps. Honda CBF 2020 version.
Kenny, we had this chat earlier. They didn't make them in 2020. They stopped making them in 2016. And that's the CBF 1000 FA, the one that you're looking at.
It looks like a fucking Strom.
Yeah, it looks
They
horrible.
all do now.
Looks like a V-Strom. That's not a sports bike material, surely. The CBF's a sports bike. Oh, I like the white.
That's the X-Trail one,
like
though,
the white
isn't it?
one, did you
I
say?
like the white one.
Runner.
That looks nice.
That looks okay,
yeah.
yeah.
It looks proper old school, that one, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see concept, yeah. That is nice. That's 1980s job, isn't it? So late
Yeah.
early 80s.
Well, that's the concept for the new one, because they stopped building the CBF as I've got and the second generation in 2016, and they did say that they were thinking about bringing it back, and that was the concept for it.
Yeah, actually saw a 2017 today. But when I said to him, I thought they stopped making them 2016. He said that it's actually a 2016 model, just late settle.
It's a late registration.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, there was two of them. Him and his wife pulled up on matching bikes with matching number plates. You know, one letter difference.
All right. Okay.
And then about half an hour later, two people pulled up on Himalayans. Again, matching plates, all up, just one letter difference. I was like, fucking hellfire, you know what's going on?
But the CBF, it's actually quite a sought after bike now, because a lot of people liked them when they were about, and they were well pissed when Honda stopped making them.
Well, there's an awful lot of CBFs about, isn't there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they've got one of the most.
You look at the money they're making.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's up for $4,500. I only paid $3,500, but that was in lockdown.
But they have got to be the most popular Honda ever made, I would say.
It's if you put it up against the Pan, the CBF would beat it.
You see, I wouldn't have said the Pan was as popular as, like, mind you, I suppose really units sold. Yeah, okay, units sold. Well, I was going to say, because, you know, I mean, if you go against things like the Dreams and so on, you know, I mean, at the time, they were so fucking, there was everywhere, weren't they?
Oh, the Wet Dreams, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then they were the best of a bad bunch, weren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you either had the CB 250 or you had the Z 250, which was a pile of shit, or you had the XS 250, which wasn't much better.
Yeah.
You know, and Suzuki was still building the X7 252 stroke.
You know, funny thing is, at that particular time, Husqvarna did a road bike in a 250, and it was far better looking than any of them, and it never made it to the UK.
No, that was only for that. What was it? That the home market, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so strange because I think if they'd have bought it to the UK at that particular time, they'd have outsold all of them.
Yeah, it would. It's far superior on power and everything.
It's I don't know. I mean, you see, Husqvarna. I mean, they're more of a racing thing originally. You know, like an off-road racing thing originally.
Well, that's
And
where
chainsaws.
That's where they directed all their energy, wasn't it?
Yeah, and chainsaws, Carl. They did a 250.
No. You go back to the 80s, Dave.
Yeah,
80s.
yeah, they did a 250 street bike.
Husqvarna 250, 1980s.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I mean, you see, I think bikes just look better back then.
They look less complicated.
Well, I think what it boils down to is nowadays a sport bike pulls up, and half the time you only know what it is by what colour it is.
Well, if you put them all in a line, now with no stickers on, you think they're all the same machine.
Funny thing is, my mate said the same thing the other day. He says to a load of Power Rangers pulled up, and he says, if you painted all them fuckers pink, you wouldn't know which for which.
The only one you could tell is different out of all of them would be the Suzuki.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because of the headlight.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can tell the difference.
JB says we'll have to pop up and look at them when come over Skeggy.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's a sad day really when you get to the stage where bike manufacturers just sort of copy each other's ideas or try. Oh, they're selling well, so let's go down that route. You know, I mean, a lot of retro bikes came back out again, so the other companies dived on it and sort of went, "Oh, retro bikes are selling well. Let's go and reproduce some of them," sort of thing. You know.
We've still got the tools. Let's get them done.
Yeah, but I mean,
like you were saying earlier, part of your conversation when I was listening is like bikes from the 80s and 90s. They had something about them. They all looked different. They all had character.
Yeah.
After 2010, they all look the bloody same.
Yeah. I don't know what it is they did. Whether it was all having to fall in line with Euro bloody emissions shit and all that sort of thing, and this is going to be a certain height, and you've got to have this, and you've got to have that. Whether all that sort of fell into line, and they sort of designed the bike, well, according to their regulations, this is what we've got to have.
Yeah, I mean, like you look from 2000 to 2010, you had great bikes. They came out with the R1. It's a Yamaha. But,
yeah. I mean, I don't like the VMAX, but look how different the VMAX is to any other bike on the market.
Look at them now, compared to then. When they came out with the R1, everybody was going out killing themselves because they were so powerful.
Yeah.
The GSXR.
You see, to me, it's not about the power. It's about.
I actually I don't think it is actually the manufacturers themselves as such. It's like I live in Coventry, and Coventry's got Coventry University, and they most design studios and whatever in the world have got somebody in a high position that came from Coventry University, and my wife used to work in a place that used to do the copying and the reproducing for the students. And they all said every design looks exactly the bloody same.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everything now is designed in a wind tunnel.
Yeah. But it was the same with the cars because it went the same way. Everything after the Sierra became like a fucking jelly mold.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you look at the old CBR. What was it? Late 90s, early 2000s. The CBR looked like it came out of a jelly mold.
Yeah.
Is
that the one with the square back light?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all the rest of it was like round, like it came out of a jelly mold. You had, you went from the GSX RS rad in the late 90s to the GSXR 750 and 1000.
Yeah.
In early 2000, the jumps were there, but you look at them there compared to now, and they've got character.
So it's one of the reasons I like the nakeds from the late 70s, early 80s. The nakeds from the late 70s, early 80s just had more character. They had, for starters, everyone on the market had a different shaped tank.
Yeah. I mean, the Z had the coffin tank.
Yeah.
The Honda.
Well, they were the only one that did a square tank.
Yeah, the only one. Suzuki had the teardrop. Honda looked like it had fucking the saddle tank.
Yeah.
It had like two bits that came over the side of the bike, made it really wide.
Yeah. And Yamaha's was always that little bit narrower. And, and sort of
narrower and slightly higher, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of a mix between Suzuki and Honda, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know, but not only that, you could see the engine, you could see the engine design. You know, because I mean, bear in mind, a sports bike then only had a half fairing.
Yeah, well, you take the bowl door.
Yeah.
The bowl door came out with a half fairing. And then Suzuki came out with that god awful looking katana.
Oh, I've never liked katanas.
And it was.
I'll tell you what, if you describe anything from the 80s, it's that, isn't it?
It was the GSXF, or it was the GSX 550 ES, wasn't it? The katana. And it looked fucking awful. And it had the little bikini fairing in it, and the idiot lights, and it didn't look right then.
That's when they tried to put dashboards on bikes.
Yeah. the idiot lights that sat across the top.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
What's all that about?
Yeah. Before that, you know, you had a couple of lights in your headlight. In your headlight, you're lucky.
Yeah. You had a high beam. You had the oil light. You had neutral light.
Indicators, not really.
Yeah. Indicators if you was lucky, but they were all like inside the clocks.
I mean, I was quite impressed. I think it was it the Honda H100 that first came out with the
H100? Yeah,
it came out with the fuel gauge. Yeah, and I was quite impressed at the time. I was like, bloody hell, that's a fuel gauge on a bike.
They weren't a bad bike actually for a 100cc two-stroke. They used to go fairly rapid.
Yeah. I mean, my mate had one. I had the CB100N, and he had the 800, and pissed all over me. You know, I was better on
what?
It pissed all over mine. I was better on top end. I had the
what did you have?
I had the CB100N.
Yeah.
He had the 800.
Right.
And it pissed all over me on bottom end, but I was quicker than him on top end. Yeah, you're talking 100cc, aren't you? You know, it's not exactly.
Yeah. I mean, one of the best bikes I had back in the 80s was the CB125 Twin Super Dream.
You see, I consider that a good-looking bike for a 125.
So it was 250.
Yes.
Super Dream Deluxe.
Yeah, but the 125 was a well-balanced bike. I mean, I used to wear the edge of my boots off going around corners on it because you didn't throw it about, and it had plenty of poke in it.
The difference between the 125s and the 250s was the 125s had the pots going up like that. The 250s had the pots going like that.
Yeah, parallel twin. I think when it comes down to it, was the main breaker in it all really was when they introduced the GSs. When they introduced the GS range, it sort of broke the mold on a lot of things.
Yeah, but you had the GS, you had the CG, the GS. What was the Kawasaki one they made? I can't remember what the cracker one was.
What year did the Z? Was it Z400? What year did that come out?
Oh, Christ! That was about 78, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know that was early.
It was about 2 years after they actually brought the CB 404 into the UK, and that was 76.
Yeah. See, in my mind, the 404 was a much better looking bike.
Yeah, a friend of mine had one of the first ones into the country, and every 2 months he would have to go into the garage and have a new tyre put on it.
Yeah.
On the front. Right? Every 2 months without fail, because it would shred the tyres, because like they're sending these bikes across with all this power, and you're putting Avon Roadrunners on.
Yeah.
And they weren't designed for the bike.
There was the old ones with the lines around it, weren't they?
That's it. The old cross-ply 1990 18s or whatever it was.
That's right, yeah.
And it used to shred the tyres.
Yeah, too much power for that tyre.
Yeah. But I think the Z came in about 2 years later, the Z400.
It's funny what Meister's has just put there, because no matter what my fuel gauge says, I always still do that.
Yeah. Well, I do that now to mix the ethanol in with the petrol before I start it, if it's stood for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Fuel gauge? Fuel gauge? I got a reserve tap.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I would love a reserve tap. You have to rely on the fact that your light is still going to cut, the actual reserve light works. And I've no idea how much it holds in reserve. Because once I managed to get nearly 30 miles out of reserve, and last time I did 15.6 miles and Emma had to run me some fuel out. I was like, what the fuck?
I haven't even got a fuel tap.
No, I've not got a fuel tap. It all comes down to how hot it is and how much is evaporated, and whether you've been riding around town or on a journey, or how much you've been caning it, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I had that on, because mine's a 1900, if you just go around town and just blip it a few times sort of thing, I mean, it's a nice sounding 1900 V-twin, you need to. And, I think it's the law that you have to represent. So,
the Z250 Scorpion was a truly crap bike. It was a truly crap bike.
Why can't I remember that?
No, I don't know the bike myself.
It was that forgettable.
It really? I'm sorry, John, but I can't remember the Scorpion.
It's basically,
the Scorpion.
Basically, they turned it into the GPZ 305.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. The engine was like shit. I mean, it had no go in it whatsoever.
God, that's quite Katana-esque on the back end, isn't it?
Can you find the Z250 Scorpion, Dave?
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, that's up. It's up now.
No, that's the GPZ.
No, that's a Z250 Scorpion.
Yeah. You can tell.
That's what I said. The
Z250
was almost identical to the GPZ 305s. The 305 was just a reborn 250 engine, basically.
Yeah. See, I had a 250 Scorpion, but it didn't have the plastic on the back end.
Yeah, I've always hated them bloody 5-spoke wheels. There's a name for
proper shite.
There's a name for them. A name for them wheels, and I can't remember it, but I've never liked them. They're not a good looking.
305 had twin discs on front brakes as well.
Yeah, but why? Did it need it?
I know, because it had drum brakes on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny thing is, today I actually sent a picture through to a friend. She's got the FB Mondial 125 2020 edition.
Yeah.
And I found there's one for sale on Facebook, a 1957 FB Mondial 125. And basically, all she could say is, "Thank God they changed the design because it's a typical 19." Well, I say 1950s. In the picture, it almost looks 1970s. So you could say there was probably ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll show you this. This is the Z250 Scorpion.
Yeah, you see the back end on that. I don't like.
Yeah, you can see the back end the way it curves like that. You can see this panel here, the tank and everything. And if I just go up here and change this to a GPZ 305. You'll see, apart from the fairing on the front, everything else is exactly the same.
Yeah, see, that doesn't look anything like the one I had. Mine looked like one of the earlier Zs.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps it was custom.
What year?
Customized it.
Yeah, what year was yours, Jim?
I think it was 86.
I wonder if they've changed the style. Hiccups, that's all I need.
I know it's between 80.
That's an 84.
Yeah, what's the one? The blue one above it, Dave.
That's
Might have been earlier.
the same bike.
No, the blue one.
Oh, this
to
one
the
here.
left.
Yeah, that one there.
Now that's a better looking bike to me.
Yeah,
that is more like the one I had.
Yeah, it's a better looking bike. I'm not saying it's any good.
That's older than 84, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What on earth is that rubbish?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like the one that I had.
Yeah, that's definitely an older style.
Yeah, that looks quite like a lot of Zs actually, doesn't it? When you look at it.
That actually looks
1979.
Yeah. I was younger then. I can't remember that far
I think when it boils down to it, it's all about the era that you grew up in.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Because there'll be some people looking at these bikes and going, "I'm sorry, they're all fucking ugly." And only the jelly molds of today are better looking. And then there'll be like older people who are going, "Well, you don't know what you're talking about. The ones from the 50s and 60s were better looking." For me, a bike looks wise, I love the late 70s. I think the late 70s, because I officially started riding on the road in 81. So, 81, I was 16 years old. I was able to ride on the bike and I was able to see what other bikes were on the road properly for myself and take it in a bit more. And it's one of them things where you look at it and you suddenly go, "Oh, look at that, that's nice." Before then, they were just motorbikes. Yeah. I knew I liked them, but I didn't really care what they were. It was just a motorbike.
JB says, everyone called the Super Dream a Scorpion was even worse. Baz says, one of my mates had a KH250 triple.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all right.
Slowest F and Axis K.
Now, the strange thing is, again, it's the same thing, isn't it? Because to some people, it's not about the speed. Some people, it's about the looks and not the speed. To me, I like the speed, but it's about the handling.
The Z250 Scorpion, yeah, that's like the one I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The Z250 Scorpion, you're lucky if you get 85 out of it. The CB250 Wet Dream, you're lucky if you get 90 out of it. The XS250, I think, was the fastest of all of them.
Yeah, the XS was.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think you was able to get just over the ton on that one.
Yeah. But the strange thing is, I was able to get just over the ton out of my 125 in 1982. but it had been fiddled with, let's say. It might have just been fiddled with.
Had a bit of a fettle.
Yeah, but to say, at the end of the day, it's still a 125 that did over the ton.
What was yours?
It was the MBX 125. Honda MBX.
That was the first liquid cooled 125, if I
That's
remember
right.
rightly.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it was standard on mine. It said MBX 125F special.
Yeah.
I had an Aprilia head put on it.
Right.
My Uncle John used to race smaller bikes, and he played about with it, and he basically put an Aprilia head on it, and then I went for the usual Micron exhaust, Metzeler tyres, and so on. You know, typical 80s stuff. Yeah. And it literally on the speedo, it would just top 101. So I suppose, really, in reality, you're probably still talking only 95. Well, you never really know how accurate the thingies are, right? Do you? You know, the speedos.
Over 70 mile an hour, they're very inaccurate anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because a friend of mine, he had a RXS 125, and he got pulled doing 82 miles an hour on it.
Was it red?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen RXS in red.
I've seen a blue one. But they took him to court for speeding because he challenged it.
Yeah.
And he actually took the book in, and he said, well, the book speed says it only does 78 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And they let him off. They threw it out. But
if you talk to anybody who had like a Yam Fairs or a bloody, you know, the old any bike of that era that was a 50cc, the amount of stories that you got told that I've had like, you know, 58 out of it, I've had 65 out of mine, and it's all bollocks. It's all teenage bollocks, isn't it?
Of course it is.
You know what I mean?
I mean, going back to the days of the YB100, like you used to get a fizz, like the old fizz, and put a YB100 engine in it.
Yeah.
Because that goes straight in.
Yeah.
And you do the same, like with, what was it, AR50, you could put the AR80 engine in it. That goes straight in.
The AR80 didn't come out until later, though, did it?
It's the same time as the MBX and all that, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I didn't think the AR50 was out on the AR80. Not initially, you know.
Yeah. No, that was...
I think the AR50 ran for longer than you realise, but a lot of my mates, they had the... can you remember the old Gilera 50?
Yes.
Yeah, mate, a lot of my mates had the old Gilera 50, and they weren't slow. Yeah, they were faster than the fizzes.
Yeah, well, the fizz, like, you used to go, oh, yeah, I've got a big ball kit for it, and blah, blah, blah. And then 2 weeks later, they're blowing the bloody thing up.
Yeah. And you'd be like, yeah, it's still got pedals, mate, though, hasn't it?
Yeah. And then, yeah, like, then you had the DT50 and...
Yeah, I loved, my brother had the DT50, and I absolutely loved the look of the DT50.
Yeah, well, they had the DT50, Suzuki had the TS50, Honda had the MT5, and that was a crock of shite, that was.
Yeah, I can't remember that. I was never... Strange, actually, because when I was younger, I was never a fan of Hondas. And I think the main reason being is because my mum and dad bought me my first bike, which was a Honda CP50 or PC. PC50.
Yeah.
You know, step through pedal and push.
Yeah.
To be quite honest, it was actually quicker than all my mates' 50s because it was a 4-stroke. It was
Well,
quicker on the top end.
It was unrestricted as well.
Yeah, it was better on the top end, but they piss all over me on acceleration unless I pedalled.
But on top end, you had the Mark 1 fizzies, and they were a lot quicker because they didn't have the restriction of.
That's right.
Then you get the Mark 2 fizzies and all that sort of ilk. They were all restricted.
Yeah, 1980, weren't it?
1980, they started restricting them.
They started restricting them. 35 mile an hour top end, and then they brought it down even more.
Yeah.
And it turned out it were a load of washers.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a big old metal rod down the exhaust and bash the fucking washer out.
Done that a few times.
Yeah. But the MT5 was proper crap, and Kawasaki made the KE50, which wasn't a bad little bike.
Yeah. The only trouble again, in my own probably fault, I don't know whether it's because I'm colourblind or what, but every fucking Kawasaki is green.
Green.
And I just don't like green.
And
I mean,
Hondas were all red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Suzuki's were all blue.
Yeah, mostly. I never thought about that.
Yeah, Suzuki's are all blue.
Yeah. You got the odd old man bike that were brown.
Yep. Yeah, but you're talking about the C125 and
I'm talking like them and the was it Honda Matic?
Honda Matic. Oh yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. The CD125 and the CD185 Bentley and shit like that. They were proper crap.
When you think about it, they did some shit bikes, really. I mean,
they did.
Who calls a bike a Bentley?
You have to go through some crap before you get to the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one thing out of it all is when you look at it, Honda have come out as, engineering-wise, probably the most reliable bikes on the market. But on the other side, the most boring. And I like Hondas nowadays.
They're dependable. They concentrate more on the engineering side.
Kawasaki's have always had that fucking mental side. You know? Suzuki's and Yams have always been sort of fairly middle of the road.
Yeah, well, Kawasaki was always the smaller brother of the rest of them, wasn't it? Yeah, Honda was always the best engineered. Suzuki, a good second.
I never trusted an inline four Suzuki for some reason. And
but you look at a lot of the trikes now; they're all fucking Suzuki GS 850s and GS 1100s.
The 850 was a bit of a sort of against the rule sort of thing, weren't it?
It was, and they're bomb-proof. I mean, they're still going 30, 40 years on.
Yeah,
with the same engine.
Yeah. But it's strange, you know. I mean, it's like every Yam I've had, they've had a clunky gearbox.
Yeah.
But they've never let me down. I've never had a Yamaha gearbox let me down.
I've just never rated. I've always found that the Yamaha build quality has been crap compared to a lot of them.
Yeah. You see, I like Yams. I like, I'll go through the years. I like my Hondas for my CVs. I like the Yams for the RDs. And then it sort of went from there to the cruiser side of things, the XVs, XVSs, XVZs, things like that. The Suzukis, funny thing is, I quite like the Mark 1 SV.
They were good. The 650 wasn't as good, though, because it had trouble with the front end piston.
Yeah. I don't know why, I tell you what, I mean, Wyvern Bike Rad is, and he was the first one that got me to actually like a reasonably modern sports style bike.
Yeah.
And he had his white SV650, and I was like, there's something about that bike, I quite like it. And then by that time, I'd way gone off liking sports bikes. And I don't know, it was just nice. A nice sound, a nice engine.
That's the 90-degree V on that, isn't it?
Yeah, but then again, on the other side of it, I suppose you can, that's what probably the most you can say about it, the fact that it's nice. And is nice good enough?
It's a well-balanced bike. I mean, you look at Honda's attempt with the V-twin.
Yeah. Unless you go to their cruisers where you start talking about the shadows and things like that, the other side of it, the V-twin's not so good.
Yeah, the Firestorm. Yeah, a lot of power.
Yeah.
But you have to stop every 100 miles to fill up.
Yeah. Was it
a duty bastard? And they weren't.
Was it the Thundercat that was
Yamaha?
Yamaha. That was one of the ones that was supposed to be quite thirsty as well, weren't it?
That was the forerunner to the R6 and the R1.
Ah, there you go then. Yeah.
But I still love my old two strokes, mate.
Yeah.
Give me an X7 any day of the week. One of the best two strokes I'd ever ridden.
I mean, yeah, I can't dislike an X7. I had an X7 and I absolutely loved it.
It was
one of the. There's certain bikes along the years that you wish you'd never got rid of, and in my case, the RD 250, the RD 350, the Suzuki X7. They are.
Yeah.
They're up there. Funny thing is, a bike show the other day, and there was an RD 250 parked up, and I was like, "Oh, look at that!" And it's probably the only white bike I've ever liked.
But I mean, if you look at Suzuki's pedigree with the two-stroke, they were better than Honda.
Yeah.
And they were better than the Yamaha. And
well, at the time. At the time, Suzuki were winning all the races with Barashing, weren't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, you had the GT 125 and the GT 185, which were twins.
Yeah, I never had a 185.
Then you had GT 250 two-stroke.
Never had one.
The 380 triple.
Yeah.
The GT 500 triple and the GT 750 kettle.
Was it 500 or 550?
Or was it 500 or I can't remember. That's the only one that I can never get right.
I'm not quite sure. Because I'm pretty sure a mate had a GT 550, but
550.
Maybe the 500 and the 550. I don't know.
But they were all two strokes.
Yeah, which is a big engine for a two-stroke.
Yeah, and they called it the kettle because it kept overheating.
Yeah.
But then you jump up another decade, and then you had the RG Gamma.
Yeah.
You had RD and.
Isn't it strange? Because I've now gone on to cruisers, and I ride a 1900, and I don't class it as a big bike. I mean, what's the fucking else going wrong with the world? Do you know what I mean?
You got 2 liters near enough between your legs,
and I don't class it as a big bike.
The last time I had 2 liters between my legs, I had a Saab SE 9000.
Yeah, I've not owned a small car engine in a lot of years. Everything I've had has been 3.5 and a bit and above. In many years. But that's down to owning a lot of Range Rovers, Range Rover Classics, and I mean even the Kia I've got now is a Kia Sorento. It's a 3.5 litre V6. The only thing is I'm still the same literage, but I've dropped down 2 cylinders.
But yeah, you look at when they went in the plastic phase with like the RG Gamma, you had an SR, and you had the TZR.
See, is it just me? Do you think that the RG Gamma is a bad name for a bike? I never got my head round it.
The RG, I can understand.
Yeah, but the Gamma.
But the Gamma, yeah, I don't know
You know,
where
I
that
mean,
came from.
I don't know whether it's just me and radiation and gamma rays and things like that. You know, I don't know. You just think, well, is it a good thing?
Yeah, it was a GT 500. Kenny had two in the mid 70s.
Was the GT 550 triple? Was that the one with the
The
ram
500
air
triple.
system?
Yeah.
See now, GT 500T.
Yeah, that was a triple.
Yeah.
T stood for triple.
Yeah.
That and the 380 had the ram air system. Basically, it's where they put aluminium box over the top of the head.
Yeah.
And it rammed the air into the fins to cool it down.
Yeah.
And that was what the ram air system was.
Do you think it ever worked?
Into the airbox.
Do you think it ever worked properly? Do you think the ram air actually ever worked properly?
It worked for cooling down.
As long as you were motoring.
As long as you was cracking along.
Yeah. The only trouble is to be motoring along, you're overheating your engine in the first place. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah, if you look at the top of the head, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Dave.
Yeah,
I can try. That's about as good as you can get.
Yeah, you got the top, that bit that goes over the top.
Yeah.
Yep, and that was to ram the air through the fins to cool it down, but it also rammed the air into the airbox.
Yeah. There was a bit of controversy about them because they reckon if they made the fins curled, you know, if they made them curved as opposed to straight,
they
actually said that it would have forced the air down and cooled the fins down quicker. It was a discussion way after these had gone off track anyway. You know, but I noticed that one's a GT 650.
Yeah, that one's 650.
Sorry, 660.
That's not a factory spec GT.
No. But I only picked that picture because you could see the front of the engine.
At the end of the day, that's how the ram air system.
Yeah, because I seem to remember the ram air actually had a gap. That's more like, isn't it? It had a gap at the front.
Yeah.
It was actually about 6-7 millimeters wide, centimeters wide, and it just.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good-looking bike, isn't it?
Cracking-looking bike.
You know what I mean? Again, you see, it's because it's got that stance. There's a certain stance about it that it's got.
It's got. Well, it sort of looks mean, doesn't it? It looks like it means business.
Yeah.
To me, if you look at this, it's all sort of on a level.
Yes.
Where modern bikes now, they just seem to need to cocoon you into the middle of the seating position and have the tank up here somewhere and the back up here somewhere, and you're also like sunk in the middle. And I'm not too keen on that kind of kind of bike.
But
for instance, like that.
It must have been a good looking bike because, you know, I mean, these days they're trying to replicate all that sort of stuff.
They were a very big bike.
Yeah.
If you speak
they were
to Kenny
tall.
about it, not so much tall. They were fat. They were really wide bikes.
Yeah, if I remember rightly, the actual seat itself was quite wide.
Yeah, because you got the 3 cylinders instead of the 2.
Yeah.
And the tank actually went wider than the cylinders. They were quite a wide bike.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm going to have to pop for a pee, Carl.
Pissy pants.
This is it.
But yeah, you got to love the old bikes. It's what we grew up with, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day. But the X7 was the epitome.
No, I've always liked my bikes where you can actually see the engine.
Yeah. But I think my Eleanor, should we say, has got to be the X7. the only bike I'd ever really want to go out and buy now would be an X7. Absolutely fantastic bike. It was light, it handled, and Kawasaki tried to come up with a KH250, didn't go nowhere near it.
You almost sit
Far
in
superior.
the modern bike. You used to sit on the classic bike. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah. But then one of the most comfortable bikes I ever rid, sports bike, was my Ducati 900 SS. That was a 1991 Ducati 900 SS. And that seat actually, it's quite a big bit on the back, but it sort of dropped down into the frame, and you only had like 2 inches of foam between you and the frame. You actually sat inside the bike, so you felt more in control of it. But yeah, come in.
No,
she's gone. No, she's gone to the bog.
She just knocked on the door, did she? Make sure you was all right. Make sure you ain't in the bucket.
That's a light switch, mate.
Of course it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, did you ever experience the 2-strokes, Dave, or?
I had my Yamaha RD350 power valve.
Oh right, okay.
That was a
Did you
beautiful bike.
turn the power valve?
First bike I ever had was a Honda H100A.
They were a good bike.
Yeah, they were.
They were a very good bike for that time. Very well built.
Yeah, I never had any problems with it. It's I got 65, 66 out of it, which is pretty good. The only time I had any trouble was my naivety in understanding at the time, because I was only a kid. I thought, okay, I hear about these turbos and they're forcing air in, so I thought I'll take the air intake, a tube that goes on top of the box, and I'll spin it forwards. So I get more air into it. Not knowing that if you're putting more air into it,
the warden's in.
You need to You need to put more fuel in. So I was struggling everywhere.
Hi.
Are you checking on the prisoner?
I am, yeah.
Just you, Carl.
Go on then, get him in a headlock. Get him in a headlock. Choke. Go on. Bit tighter.
You mean like that?
Yeah.
Bit tighter. Bit tighter.
Bit tighter till he turns blue.
Spot on. You got to tell him he's got to start to take you to these bike meets.
What, in my car?
If that's how you want to get there,
I'm not getting on the back of his. Yeah, I'm not getting on the back of his bike.
No,
why not?
She didn't do pussy to ass.
No wonder you wanted to strangle him.
Yeah.
That's it. No wonder she's ready for necking him any minute. I don't know. Yeah, well, you've got to get to some of these bike meets that we come to. So even if you do go in your car, it doesn't matter as long as we meet you. We've got to meet the warden.
Yeah, all right. We've got to meet the warden, right? Okay.
So what time's lockdown then?
What time is lights out?
Yeah.
Depends on how you mean lights out.
As in,
you're
going back to
flick
jail.
the switch or
both.
I do like that answer.
Yeah, the second one.
Quality.
Definitely the second one, Carl.
Up yours, ugly.
Some people are so touchy, aren't they?
I used to ride the GT250 with my Barry Sheen replica helmet.
Yeah.
And Moise says, "G'day, boss." She's gone out now. Make sure you keep him on the line, boss. Keep him in line, boss.
In line. Yeah. it's not hard with Carl, really, is it? You know, just that little threat there. You could see we're quite happy to toe the line.
Mm-hmm. He talks to us big when she's not here, but as soon as he comes in, she comes in, that's
he goes all mashed, doesn't he? Yeah,
quite happy sat there with a breast on his shoulder. Yeah.
Well, he's got a tit on the top of his neck, so.
I don't know. Right, what was we talking about? We're so rudely interrupted.
Yes, we were just talking to Dave about his power valve, and I was just going to ask him if he actually turned it 180 degrees to open the power valve right up.
No, at those times, all I did was repair and put it back to manufacturing specs at the time. But I didn't tinker so much in those times at all. So when the seals went on the side, I would just pick everything apart, put new seals in, put it all back together again. And then after the third time of doing that, I just left it, made it louder.
I've always been lucky. Every time I've had out like that, everything's worked fine, and I've obviously just got rid of the bike before it needed doing or something like that, you know. Never really had a problem when it came to needing to do work. In fact, when I think about the bike, I've worked on other people's bikes a damn sight more than I've worked on my own bikes. My bikes have generally been well looked after, well, you know, maintained and not had a problem. Whereas when it comes to other people's bikes, I've quite often done work on them that, and I think to myself, oh shit, you know, maybe if you'd have lubricated this or done that, then you know you wouldn't have had this problem. But
first bike meet after lockdown, Carl's cell.
There you go then. At least you won't have to travel far.
That is the problem with youngsters today, though. They just don't maintain their bikes.
They're absolutely terrible for it.
Yeah, I had, when I was working up at the garage, I had a bloke bring a CB 125 in.
Yeah.
He wanted a new back tyre on it, and I had to get a disc cutter and cut the rear spindle out because it had seized into the bearings inside the hub.
I've known people lose spokes. People have engines blow up. I've known people. I mean, I'm not just talking 125s. I'm talking big bikes. People who are new to biking. There was a bloke uptown the other day. You know, in Skegness, we tend to pop out and have a coffee at the pier and things like that. And you've got the bike park. So every now and again, you'll wander down there and you'll have a look around the bikes. I was looking around these bikes, and there was a Triumph, and it was an old Triumph T100. I'm looking right, and I'm like, fucking hell, mate, when was the last time your chainsaw any oil? And he went, oil? I went, yeah. When was the last time you checked it and lubricated it, sort of thing? And he went, what do you mean? I thought, what do you mean? You know, you're supposed to keep that, you know, I said, your chain's gone rusty. He said, well, I don't see how it's gone rusty. I use it every day. I'm like, well, yeah, but you obviously ride it in all weathers, or when you've ridden it in the rain, you've not washed it, you know. And he's gone, yeah, I've used WD-40 on it. And I've gone, oh no. I says,
WD-40.
Yeah, I says, WD-40 basically washes everything off it. You know, I'm like, what? I says, you don't want to use that on it, mate. I says, I mean, I use WD-40 on my Enfield, but the point is, it's called WD-40 chain wax. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I couldn't believe that people these days, maintenance. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he said he passed his test in 2010. And he knew nothing about motorbikes before, and he knows nothing about motorbikes now other than riding it. It's just all he does. He takes it for an MOT.
If you don't know anything about it, you take it to a frigging garage, don't you?
This is it. I mean, I says to the guy, I says, well, look, I'm sorry, mate, but that won't pass an MOT with that chain on. And then I noticed this sprocket. Obviously, you can't see the front sprocket on one of them.
The teeth are gone like that, had they?
Well, teeth. I'll tell you what, I'm trying to think who it was who posted a picture of some sprocket teeth. I think it was Spicy. They were like, I was thinking to myself, how were they gripping? Because there was almost smooth, like sort of like that sort of thing.
I must admit, I've done that myself, but I've
had someone come into the garage, and all he's done, because the rear sprocket was worn, he tightened the chain up tighter. And I'm like, why don't you just put a new sprocket on?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. It's because they think it's a big job.
But it isn't.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Because we've done bike maintenance, but to somebody who's never even picked a spanner up before, you know what I mean? They must literally think, oh shit, what am I doing? When he said about he'd never lubricated, I tell you what made it worse, he'd not only never lubricated his chain, but he'd also used ACF 50 all over the bike, including the chain, because he'd seen it on a YouTube channel. You know, and I thought, I'm pretty sure you didn't see him put it on the chain. I hope there's not. I hope God there's not a YouTube channel out there where they're showing you putting ACF 50 on a chain. You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
I must admit, I've done the frilly back cog, and then just tighten the chain up tighter and tighter. That's because I couldn't
give you a slap.
That's because I couldn't afford at the time to buy a new one.
Carl, I've been
and I no, it was a case of I knew what I was doing and I knew why I was doing it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I could afford the new cog, I bought a new one and bought a new chain and bought a new front cog. But
I've done it myself where I've had a problem and not realised it, but it was almost I don't know what you would say. Ignorant, not ignorance, because I knew about it. It was when I'd come from trikes back into bikes again.
Yeah.
And I was riding with my mate, and we pulled up, and I says, "Fucking hell!" I says, "It look." He looked at me chain, and he went, "It's about time you lubricated that sort of thing." And I went, "Well, I only lubricated it, not that long back." And I looked at it, and I thought, "Well, it does look a bit dry, actually." And we went round my chain, and that's when I suddenly noticed that one of the links had actually split on the back half of the chain. Oh. So one of the links was only hanging on by one side.
Right.
And I thought, fucking hell, that is so unusual for me. But it's because I've been riding trikes, which were shaft drive.
Shaft drive, yeah.
You know, and I'd just got out of the old maintaining chains thing. And he says, you should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm like, I am, mate. That's not me. You know what I mean? I do my checks once a week. Yeah.
Without fail, I'll put it on the main stand. I'll check the fucking chain. I'll lube it up because I lube mine once a week. Because I use motor endurance on mine, and that's the only one that lasts a week.
Now you see, the only chain I've got is on the Enfield, and the Enfield doesn't get used as often as like my daily ride. So I check it. I don't know, probably once a month. And I'm quite happy because I know I check it once a month, and I know every time I've checked it, it's been fine.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
I always lube my chain once a week because if you don't, then that's when you get tight spots because where it stood.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the difference is as well whether it depends on whether you use wax, whether you use oil, or whether you take your chain off and soak it like we used to.
Well, yeah, you used to put it in.
Depends on whether you've got a ring chain, an X-ring chain, or what, you know.
I think that's one of the worst things they've done is put this O-ring and X-ring shit in, because you can't actually get the lubrication inside the rollers. Whereas years ago, you used to spray the the chain, but the lube used to go inside the rollers as well, whereas now it doesn't. So hence, you have to do it more frequent. And like with mine, I'll clean it, then I'll use DP50 to lubricate it, because that will penetrate inside to get like the wax oil that they put inside the rollers. It will lubricate that and get that moving again.
Yeah.
And then I'll spray the chain lube on the top. That's the only way to lube inside the chain there.
Going on to Kenneth's question on the bottom there. Sorry, David, I'm jumping in. Did you want to read it?
I was just going to say 20 minutes, guys. And Kenneth said, has anybody turned the sprocket round to get their money's worth out of it?
Yeah. No. I've not done it personally on a bike I've owned, but I was out on a ride out to Backlot, and one of the lads there, his chain started slipping, and when I saw what I saw, I was a bit horrified, to be quite honest. And we turned this round to get him home.
Mm-hmm.
He'd got the hook going off. You know,
right.
The old hook.
Yeah. They go in like a spare, don't they?
So he'd got that going off where it had bent against the power sort of thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, only on a 250. And we literally.
Still bad enough.
Yeah, we literally stripped his back end down, turned all the sprocket around, put it back on the other side, the other way around, just to get him home. And I'm going back to probably the 90s then. So, yeah, bad maintenance has been around for a while, chaps.
Yeah. I must admit, I've had to do that myself.
Yeah, I've never done
that was A, it was only form of transport, and B, money.
Yeah.
I must admit, I've never actually got to that point, because every time I get on the bike, I do a very quick visual check on the tension, just to make sure it's okay. And what I mean by a visual check is just put my foot on it, lift it up, and see how much it's moving. Once a week, I will look at it properly and give it a nice oil spray. Once a month, I usually go around the bike, checking the lights, the horn, and everything like that. And then once every 3 months, I get deeper into it. And that's when I came across a couple of years ago now the crack in my swing arm.
Yes, and that was a bad one as well. To find a crack like that.
It was hidden by paint that was over it, and it was just leaving a little crack. And I thought, it was
on your phaser, yeah.
No, this
diversion.
The divvy.
Yeah,
that was quite a common fault with them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is
they
why
had a faulty batch.
Yeah, this is why I thought that mine might have been a recall, but never got recalled, because the replacement swing arm I had a modification where the welding struts that come down the side actually was around.
Yeah. That was the modification.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Yeah. Were your bearings seized at all, David?
No. Bearings weren't seized. There's nothing.
That's another problem in the diversion is the bearings seizing, the needle bearings.
Yeah, the bike was well maintained when I had it, and I continued the maintenance. It was just the fact that when this had split, that the paint was still over it, and it was only a little crack that I saw. And it was only when I looked at it and went, that shouldn't be there. And I got my little scraper on there to have a look. I just went straight in. I went, oh.
Yeah.
And I pulled it apart.
I actually remember that recall for the diversion.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've watched David's video on it, and at the time I got the diversion. I was like, "Oh!"
And did you
immediately went out and checked my diversion, and it was fine. But mine had got the different swing arm on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually came down and they welded a strap round underneath.
But the funny thing is, it was the same year as yours. I think mine was 92.
Yeah, mine's a 92. Jerry.
Yeah, same year then. So I wonder if mine had been done and yours hadn't. Or
yeah, that's what I said. Like I said, there was been a recall, which Jim's confirmed.
Mine wasn't. There was a recall.
Mine, obviously, the owner at the time didn't send it in to have the thing fixed.
Unless he bought it second hand, and he didn't receive the recall notice.
Yeah.
Of course, back then you didn't have the internet the same way, did you?
No. You waited for snail mail to turn up, and if you was a second hand buyer, you wouldn't have got the recall notice.
That's it. Right. And the original one would have just chucked it in the bin.
Yeah. But I actually remember that because there's a few nasty accidents with it.
Yeah. It's not good when you think about it. It's because the way yours split, it was quite a bad place.
Yeah, it was.
You know.
That was on the main weld, wasn't it? Where they. Yeah.
Let me see if I can just find it because it's amongst yourselves.
Like I say, I mean, I remember, totally unaware of it, and I sat there, watched David's video, and I'm like, "Shit, I've just bought that." And I went out there and checked it. On the other side of things as well, when I first bought my XVS 13, somebody says to me, "Oh, you want to make sure that the swing arm bearings in there are properly maintained." He says because the needle bearings, and I think it was James Webber told me, and he says the needle bearings are well known for freezing up, and when quite often you'll damage the swing arm actually trying to get the bearings out. It's this sees in there that hard, and look at that. That's terrible.
I mean, I'd cleaned the paint off, which is why it's so rusty. At this point in time, this had been there a while, so I'd cleaned all the paint off round here to see what the crack was, and that was what I saw.
That's right.
And did I see the later one?
And it's all due to the suspension pushing down on it.
Yeah,
the suspension was pushing down on it, and that was the weak spot on the weld.
Yeah.
And you can see here the new one, and it goes all the way over.
Yeah, they put a reinforced bracing around the swing arm. Yeah.
As you can see there, so mine cracked there, and you can see these are going all the way around to stop that cracking. So this one. This was the second-hand one that I bought, and I cleaned all this off. This was just before this got resprayed and repainted and everything like that. And then when it was back on the bike, it was all nice and clean again.
A good peace of mind as well to know it's been done properly,
Sorry?
Good peace of mind to know that it's all been done properly now.
Yeah.
And that it didn't actually cause you a problem, you noticed it in time.
Yeah, because it couldn't have been that old because the MOT guy didn't see anything.
No, I mean...
that was... The thing about the recall on it was they reckon it went in the space, once weakened enough, within a month and a half, they were collapsing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'd caught that just about the right time.
Yeah,
because I checked, like I said, I do the
that point. They just collapse and the whole back end falls down. Like so, if you're going along at 70, that back end goes down. That's gonna.
Yeah, because like I said, I do mine every 3 months when I'm riding properly. Obviously, during COVID, I haven't had a chance, but I do my thorough check every 3 months, and I saw that so. I was probably only a few weeks away from it collapsing.
You were very close to that one because you can actually see where it started opening up.
Yeah.
And that'll get to like obviously being an engineer, you understand like you get to that point where
it's elasticity stops and it just
not long before it tears.
Yeah. Cascade fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you was quite lucky with that one, mate.
Yeah, very.
But this is why you do checks on your bike, and you do more than just looking at your tire pressures and if you got a bit of oil coming from your seals or anything like that. You actually go around and you look at things like your swing arm and welds and where bits attach, because because it's your life that you're dealing with, especially if you're going at a couple of miles an hour over the speed limit anywhere.
But on the other side of things, it just goes to show that, I mean, we all make mistakes and we all fall back on us checks and things like that. I took the Enfield for its MOT, and I was that sort of conscious about making sure everything that was working electrically on the bike, because it had been stored and I wanted to make sure everything was right. I just sort of went, right, okay, oh shit, I'm late for my MOT, I better get it down there or I'm going to be late, sort of thing. So I jumped on the Enfield, and I tell you what, I rode it down there like a bat out of hell. I was like, fucking hell, it's sticking to the road like you wouldn't believe it. It was going around the corners, absolutely brilliant. I was like, it seems to be handling really, better than ever. And I was really, I went down to MOT station pretty sharpish, and I deliberately booked the MOT in sort of 12 miles away so that I've got a ride there. And I got there, and he says, we've put some air in your front tyre. I says, all right, was it low? He said, yeah, don't you check your tyre pressure? I said, well, normally I check them before every ride. I says, but, I assumed it were all right. I says, it stuck to the road like shit to a blanket all the way down here. He says, yeah, you've got 8 PSI in your front tyre. I'm like, you're kidding me? I says, it really, really handled absolutely brilliant. He says, yeah. He says,
because you got the bigger footprint, haven't you? Where the tyres.
He says it would do. He says, but your tyre wouldn't have lasted well after that.
Nah.
And I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
I mean,
and it turns out I've got a slow puncture over a period of about a month. I've got a slow puncture that'll come down from, because tyre pressures in the thing, I think they're 28 in the front.
28 and 32 in the back.
32 in the back.
And
is it 30 or 45?
Yeah, but it just goes to show it's lost 20 PSI in a month. And that's purely because the bike isn't ridden as often.
Yeah.
But 20 PSI, I couldn't believe I'd lost 20 PSI in a month since last time I'd checked it. But it just goes to show I've been riding since I've, 39 years? Is that right? 55 now, yeah, 39 years. So riding legally on the road 39 years and you still make mistakes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, like with mine, once every 6 months I'll take the spindles out and grease them. How many people do you know do that?
We just don't, do you?
Well, not unless you're into mechanics, bike mechanic, or you got your own garage where you like to take things apart and really clean them and get them really good, like car biker does.
Yeah, I think half of my problem is I know for a damn fact if I'm kneeling down for a long period of time, I'm going to be struggling to get up and struggling on the knees afterwards. So therefore, I just don't do anything unless it's needed doing.
Yeah, you need to get back, Skeggy.
Yeah.
See, I would love to have a garage and a bike lift. Those two things would really help me, because I'd be able to do a lot more maintenance.
But I don't do mine on the bike lift.
Yeah, but I can't even get down and look up to see where to put your vacuum pipe onto your fuel tap. I had to feel around to find where it was to get it to go in, because I couldn't get down and look up at the same time.
I'll tell you what, Dave, where I've found out that mobile phones are so handy to be able to sort of go like that with a video in video mode and have it on the forward-facing camera, so you can actually use it like a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've done that a time or two where I've needed to do something and I've just sort of used it like on a video as a mirror.
Yeah.
And it's helped me out no end. But it's one of those things. Thank God for modern technology. Otherwise, I probably would have been using a mirror.
Yeah.
I must admit, I bought myself a lift about 4 or 5 years ago.
Snub.
I've got jacks and things like that, but I would love a table lift.
Yeah, it's only a cheap one. It was about 400 quid.
Yeah,
I would call it cheap. I mean, I know it's cheap for what they can be, but I still wouldn't call it cheap.
Yeah. I mean, half the problem I've got is having a lift that's capable of taking the weight of my bike.
Well, if you get a car engine in it, what do you expect?
Well, he hasn't got a Triumph fucking what's the Triumph fucking the big one?
Oh, the Rocket.
The Rocket 3,
Rocket
yeah.
3.
It's almost.
Litre, I mean, really?
Yeah, 2.5 litre now.
2.6 litre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it 2.3?
Yeah, no, the old one's 2.3, and the new one's a 2.5.
Is it?
Yeah, they jumped up to 200 or 300 cc, didn't they?
But, you know, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, mine's, I mean, okay, it's all aluminium, it's lighter. It's so much lighter than man things. But it's still a heavy old one. When it comes down to it, you're still going to try and get all that weight up on a bike and, on a stand. And you've got to bear in mind that you've only got a side stand. You've got no main stand to put it on. So you've got to make sure you wedge it nicely in between your bracket on your front wheel and then get it strapped down nicely. When they get so far up, I mean, I've seen them at the MOT testing stations, and they get them up there, and I look at them and I think to myself, it don't look safe. But yeah,
I used to use the Abbey stand one.
Yeah,
the centre point lift for the front. So,
to be quite honest, the one I've got at the moment is one of these that goes under and it goes in two points of contact about 18 inches apart, probably 14, 16. It grabs hold of the frame either side and I can jack it up and it's lovely and stable when it's on there, so I don't mind working it. It takes it to a height of about 16 inches. And when I'm sat on my little sort of rolly stool, it's just about the right height for working on if you're doing anything. So I don't mind doing it like that, but it would be so much easier on a proper table lift.
Just looking at the comments, Gordon said DP50. That is it's a lubricating oil that I use, basically because it works better than WD-40.
Yeah.
It's got more lubricating properties than WD-40. So
is it American?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
But it's not expensive, but it's not cheap. But it works better than WD-40. WD-40, you're only paying for a name.
Yes, yeah, I believe that.
But DP50 works a lot better for penetrating on X-ring and O-ring chains.
Yeah.
Yeah, WD-40 is a sort of just a sort of go-to.
It's a brand.
Dear, I've got nothing else. I'll shove that on.
See, I'm back in the day when I used to take my chain off at winter for a certain time, and I used to take it off and soak it in diesel, and then I used to soak it in oil afterwards.
Yeah.
And then put it back on the bike.
Boil the oil.
Yeah.
With the chain in it. Yeah.
And the thing is, they used to last longer. The chains then lasted longer than today.
Yeah, because they didn't have the O-rings in the X-rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they keep the muck out, but they also keep the oil out.
Yeah.
Well, they pre-pack it with lithium grease or something.
I was about to say, they pack with some sort of silicon grease or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that goes dry. It goes dry, and then basically that's when you start getting tight spots.
But like anything else, it's got a shelf life these days, hasn't it? You see, whereas one day they never used to make stuff with a shelf life.
Yeah, well, I mean, this stuff that I use, the DP50, it actually penetrates in between the seals.
Yeah, I've never bought it. So I have to buy some.
But, yeah, it's got me out of a lot of trouble.
I'm trying to think of the penetration oil I use at the moment. It's quite a big can. It's something along them lines. It might even be
3-in-1 is another good one to use.
No, 3-in-1 I used to use for years.
Yep. Well, they actually make a penetrating oil now.
Yeah.
That's good. It's not quite as good as the DP50, but it's close to it.
See, at one time a day, 3-in-1 is what I used to actually. I used to use that as a chain oil.
Yeah.
You know, you remember the old pump tins?
Yeah.
Little
the old click tin. Yep.
Yeah, I used to use that on my chain. And, you know, I mean, to be quite honest, mainly I use that because that's what my dad had in his shed, and I still use it these days.
Looking for you is your bed.
Gordon just asked about new chain next year for his Vulcan. Doesn't make any difference. X-ring and O-ring are both the same. It's just the shape of the seals that they put on the links.
This is good stuff, Jim.
Yeah, I've actually tried some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all for it. It's basically 3-in-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Bloody dumb
Well,
drunken arse.
We've had Dobby fall. Now we've got Skeggy fall.
Yeah, Gordon, it doesn't make a difference. X-ring or O-ring both do the same thing. It's just the shape of the seals that they put in the links.
Yeah.
Yeah, one costs more than the other.
They'll give you all sorts of bump about why the X-ring's supposedly better than the O-ring, but they're all the same. And basically they all do the same thing, which is stop the shit getting into the inner part of the chuck.
Inside the rollers.
But on the same side of things, it stops the lubrication getting in there.
And hence I use the DP50 because it penetrates in there. So
it's definitely
what it is.
Well, ladies, it's 1 o'clock, and we've been going for near enough 4 hours. So I'm going to call it a night tonight.
Okay, mate.
I want to thank everybody for coming on. And he says, I was thinking about the X-Ring Gold. Yeah, it's just as good as the other one.
Yeah, X-Ring Gold. Personally, I'd go for DID, but then...
I always use the ID.
I haven't had any problems with my DID. He was brilliant. Night Moist, thank you very much for coming, as always.
No, mate.
Night Trace, thank you for coming.
Buddy.
Night Tracy.
And night to the other 4 people that are still watching. Sorry, 4 million people that are still watching.
4,000 at least.
Yeah, at least.
So that'd be GB and someone else then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Probably I'm one of them.
Somebody or other.
You probably got me, Skeggy, Carl, and Jim all watching.
No, I'm not connected other than through the yard stream thing at the moment.
Yeah, same here.
I think the other one's Kenneth.
Yeah, most likely, yeah. And we will see you all next week. If Skeggy is feeling up to it, not Skeggy, Weggy is feeling up to it, he will be hosting. If not, I'm sure it will be back on my channel again. So we'll see you all next week. And ride safe, look after yourselves, keep away from everybody who's got COVID, and we'll see you all next week.
And thanks for having me.
No. Bye.
Thanks for putting up with our shit.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.